Temperature 93, overcast skies, high humidity, and a 30% chance of rain. Let's go to the starting line.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, to give the command to start the 42nd Heinz Southern 500 is today's Grand Marshal, Linda Petty.
Richard, Howe, gentlemen, start your engine.
The field roars to life as we get set to continue a Labor Day weekend tradition that began back in 1950, the Southern 500. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Bob Jenkins, and welcome to Darlington, race number 21 of the Winston Cup season. And the quest for the Cup standings show that Dale Earnhardt has only a 60-point edge on Ricky Rudd as we head into this event. But look at third, fourth, and fifth. They're separated by only 16 points, so there is pressure on Dale Earnhardt if he wants to win a fifth championship. There's also pressure on Davey Allison. He's won the pole. If he wins here today, he'll collect the race purse. He'll collect $114,000 in Unical bonus money, and he'll collect a $100,000 bonus from RJR Tobacco. Two other drivers are also eligible for that bonus, and for more on that, here's John Kernan.
Well, Bob, Harry Gant says that he forgot all about the possibility of winning $100,000 with the win here at Darlington today. He forgot about it until the media reminded him of it last week when he got here for qualifying. Now, Ernie Irvin, on the other hand, he's full aware of what that $100,000 will mean to him, and he says Lady Luck may be on his side today. Ernie says Harry used up all of his luck winning the golf tournament on Wednesday, and Davey used up his to win the pole. Guys, it's going to take some luck.
John, it takes a lot of luck to win on this racetrack. They've called it the Lady in Black, too tough to tame, and some names we can't say here on television. Benny, what does it take to win here?
Patience. You just got to simply be patient for at least 400 miles and then try to win the race. Bob Jenkins talked about what kind of money Davey Allison can win. This is the Southern 500. What Davey wants is a trophy to sit on the mantle beside of his father, Bobby. Ned, you won the Southern 500. How would you like for Dale Jarrett to win this race and put his trophy up on the fireplace beside of yours?
Oh, that would be very special, no question about it, Benny. Of course, I won it back in 1965. And another fellow who's in this field today, Larry Pearson. His dad, David Pearson, won it several times. David was inducted into the NMPA Hall of Fame here on Friday night, so I know that they would like that.
Well, the last time that happened, Ralph Earnhardt was inducted in the Hall of Fame. The next day, his son, Dale Earnhardt, won the Southern 500. So Larry Pearson has got a lot of things going for him. There's one other son in the field that's never won the Southern 500. His dad has. More on that, here's Jerry Bunch.
You're right, Benny. You know, it was 16 weeks ago that Kyle Petty was significantly injured in that massive 16-car pileup at Talladega. Now, Kyle Petty has undergone rather extensive rehabilitation, very painful rehabilitation at the Miller Orthopedic Clinic in Charlotte and by Andy Clausen at the Central University in Charleston, South Carolina. In and out of the whirlpool, but he is ready to race. He puts the helmet on. 10 days ago, he came here to Darlington and ran nearly 280 laps during the heat. Today, it is that heat that will pose a problem for Kyle Petty. Can he win it? I think he just might. You know, he comes from pretty good stock because his dad, King Richard, has won here 3 times. Bob?
All right, Jerry, here's the Sears Die-Hard starting lineup for today's Southern 500. On the pole with a new event record of 162.506 miles an hour from Hueytown, Alabama, is Davey Allison. Bill Elliott starts second in the Coors Light Ford number 9. Starting in row number 2 on the inside from Kannapolis, North Carolina, Dale Earnhardt in the number 3 GM Goodwrench Chevrolet. Fourth starting position goes to the Budweiser Ford number 11, driven by Jeff Bodine from Chemung, New York. Starting 5th from Taylorsville, North Carolina, Harry Gant in the Skoal Bandit Oldsmobile car number 33. To his right will be Ernie Irvin in the Kodak Film Chevrolet car number 4, Ernie from Modesto, California. Starting in 7th position, inside of row number 4, Alan Kowicki from Greenfield, Wisconsin in the Hooters Ford car number 7. And then the Citgo Ford car number 21, driven by Dale Jarrett from Hickory, North Carolina. Starting in row number 5 is Ken Schrader and Mark Martin. The 6th row goes to Morgan Shepherd and Darrell Waltrip. Row number 7, Rusty Wallace and Dick Trickle. The 8th row consists of Sterling Marlin, and there's the starting position of Kyle Petty returning to action. The 9th row, Derek Cope, and second in points, Ricky Rudd. Row number 10, Larry Pearson, one of those sons that Ned and Benny were talking about, and Jimmy Spencer. The 11th row goes to rookie candidate Bobby Hamilton and Rick Wilson. Row number 12 is Terry Labonte and Rick Mast. The 13th row, there you find Lake Speed, who'll be carrying one of our in-car cameras, and Hut Strickland. And the 14th row is Brett Bodine and Chad Little. 15th row goes to Michael Waltrip and Richard Petty. Row number 16 is Ted Musgrave and Joe Ruttman. Greg Sachs and Jimmy Means will start in row number 17. Randy Baker, another son in the field, and Dave Marcus will start from row number 18. And the 19th row goes to number 82, Mark Stahl, and number 48, James Hilton. We're riding along with the Citgo in-car camera carried by Dale Jarrett, and we also will have telemetry for you, showing you that Dale right now is at 60 miles an hour at 5,100 RPM. Throttle not nearly where it will be when the green flag comes out, and he is in second gear. And when the brake comes on, we'll also be able to show you that. So telemetry riding this afternoon in the Southern 500 with Dale Jarrett. The track here at Darlington, South Carolina, the track too tough to tame. It's 1.336 miles. The pole speed was 162.5 at a time of 30.261 seconds. We'll go 367 laps. The field is separated by 3.5 seconds. The speed down the pit lanes will be 60 miles an hour here this afternoon, and there are pits on both the front stretch and the back stretch. You can see the tremendous crowd that has gathered here this afternoon to continue this Labor Day tradition. It began back in 1950 when Johnny Mance won the Southern 500. They've been doing it every year since. 38 cars are in the field for today's event as we get set for 367 laps of racing. Davey Allison is on the pole position and Bill Elliott is alongside. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Southern 500. We're glad you could join us on this Sunday afternoon for Winston Cup racing, and the green flag is out. No time in showing the field that he is set to win his third 500 as he is in second position. But the battle back in the pack is this group, which involves Morgan Shepherd and Dick Trickle there on the outside in car number 24 as they go wheel to wheel into turn number 3.
Boy, that's something you don't want to do too much of, is go in turn 3 side by side. That time they did it and got away with it.
They have singled out since then. And but here's Sterling Marlin trying to move on the inside and Trickle going into turn 1. Early in the race, the inside groove should be the preferred line, even though Trickle makes it work up on the outside. Here's Ernie Irvin trying to move around Jeff Bodine.
And that would be for 4th position. Ernie Irvin to the inside, and he gets the position. He moves to 4th. Elliott is 3rd. Earnhardt 2nd. And the leader is Davey Allison as they complete lap number 4. From Dale Earnhardt by about 7 or 8 car lengths as we ride with Dale Jarrett, and there you can see his speed up to 160 miles an hour. Now up to over 170 at the end of the backstretch. He applies the brake there on the left, and the speed decreases in 70 RPMs, but then right back on the throttle. No gear changes here at Darlington.
Once you play with that throttle off that 4th corner, that's what the drivers always want to do, is get to where you can go through this corner wide open. 180 miles per hour down in turn 1.
And Ernie Irvin continues his march toward the front. He has moved to 3rd position and now sets his sights on Dale Earnhardt, who is 2nd. And Irvin closes right in on the back bumper of Dale Earnhardt at the end of the backstretch.
Earnhardt slips a little high. Irvin sees the spot under there. He's going to try to take it.
Irvin will easily go to 2nd position. Dale Earnhardt 3rd, and now look at Jeff Bodine. Look to the inside of Bill Elliott, who goes inside of Earnhardt, but they'll fall back into single file formation.
Earnhardt said, I lost that one spot. I don't want to lose another one. And he and Elliott almost touch as they come off that second corner. Meanwhile, Bodine wants that spot away from Elliott. Can't make the pass.
Third, fourth, and fifth right here. Earnhardt, Elliott, Bodine.
You know, Bob, if you talk to any of those drivers in the days leading up to this race, they'll everyone say you got to race this racetrack. You don't race the other cars. But when you get out there, that green flag drops. If it's somebody in front of them, they want to pass it.
That's the nature of a race driver. Pass that car in front of you. Now Bodine looks to the inside of Elliott once again. Davey Allison continues to lead. He has led since the drop of the green flag.
You ever see Larry Pearson? We talked about the young man whose father, David, was inducted in the Hall of Fame, getting passed by, that's Lake Speed and Michael Waltrip. Lake in the red 66, Michael Waltrip in the yellow 30.
Elliott's still working on Dale Earnhardt, but Earnhardt holds him off, and Jeff Bodine working on Elliott.
And Harry Gant follows behind Jeff Bodine in the Skull Vest. There's Darrell Waltrip.
Sitting out there by himself, to understand he might have a tire equalized, a little bit of a vibration, but it wouldn't be unusual to see Darrell Waltrip. See how far it is for a car in front of him, how far behind him. He likes to run out there by himself as much as he can in the first 300 or 400 miles of this race.
Waltrip started 12th. He has moved to 11th position here in the first 8 laps of the Southern 500, being led by Davey Allison. Now the Phillips 66 in-car camera with Lake Speed.
You see that Michael Waltrip has been able to get by Lake Speed and take that spot away.
Lake Speed, a former winner here at Darlington. He won the Trans-South 500, the spring race back in 1988. Thanks for joining us for the Southern 500 here live on ESPN. Halfway Point receives $10,000 from Right Guard Gillette. A lot of action on the track here in the early going as now Bill Elliott loses a couple of spots.
Yeah, Jeff Bodine got behind the last lap, then Harry Gant went around, and here goes Alan Kowicki and Mark Martin. So Bill Elliott has dropped from third back to, what, about 7th or 8th?
And the 21 car of Dale Jarrett is looking at that group that you just mentioned from the Citgo in-car camera. We take a look coming down the front stretch now. The telemetry once again. He reached about 177 or so that time.
178. He slowed down just a little bit. 2 laps ago or 3 laps ago, it's 180. So already the car is starting to slow down just a little bit. And here comes Schrader, the Kodiak Chevrolet, on the inside of Dale Jarrett and takes that spot away.
That's 9th position. Schrader goes to 9th and Dale Jarrett back to 10th.
So we can see Dale playing with the throttle. As I talked about a moment ago, when they get these cars to run wide open through 3 and 4, that's when they're really hauling the mail.
The 17 car of Darrell Waltrip is obviously having problems. They are passing him at will, and now a pass for the lead as Ernie Irvin asserts himself. Coming out of turn number 2, running side by side with Davey Allison down the backstretch, but Irvin gets the measure and goes to the front.
It looks like Ernie has things going his way. Here comes Davey back on the inside and takes the spot away. Now Ernie will drive again, right?
And now Earnhardt has got up there in the picture, too. I'll tell you, that happens so many times. They go into turn 3 to pass somebody, go in there a little bit high. The other car goes in nice and straight, slows down, and is able to pull right back around it.
Earnhardt looking to the inside of Ernie Irvin there in the second turn, but Ernie will pull away from Dale just a little bit, and we'll take a look at the lead once again. Oh, he has to drop back off the throttle there going into 3.
Yeah, he wasn't far enough alongside that time. Now he slips high, and Earnhardt's going to go in.
And he's got it. Earnhardt second.
Well, that's where Ernie was past Earnhardt, so Earnhardt says, okay, I'm going to give it right back to you.
He worked so hard to get up there and pass Davey Allison and just went in there a little bit too fast as Ken Schrader makes a move on Bill Elliott. Elliott's car apparently not working too good. A number of cars have already passed him, and here he's getting passed again. Dale Jarrett looks in there as well.
This is 8th, 9th, and 10th. Schrader picks up 8th position. Elliott 9th. Now Dale Jarrett goes inside of Bill Elliott. And Jarrett has 9th place. first 17 laps of this race.
Yeah, they're not just riding it out. Look out the back of Jarrett's car now, Bill Elliott.
This is coming off the second corner down the back straightaway. If we can stay on the shot, we'll see what kind of miles per hour he gets down this straightaway. Remember, it's 178 down the front, 171 down this back straightaway. So turns 1 and 2 much tighter. That's why you can't get as much speed down the back straightaway.
The straightaways here are 1,228 feet. Turn 1 and 2 at 25 degrees of banking, and 3 and 4 at 23 degrees. Now there is Jeff Bodine, Harry Gant, Mark Martin going to the inside of last week's winner, Alan Kulwicki.
And while we watch that battle, Darrell Waltrip continues to slide backwards in his Western Auto Chevrolet.
4th, 5th, and 6th right here, being led by Jeff Bodine in the Budweiser Ford. Harry Gant, no stranger to Darlington International Raceway, a 3-time winner, won the Southern 500 back in '84.
Jeff Bodine announced this week he will be driving the car number 15, the Motorcraft Ford, next year. That's the 11th Budweiser Ford he's currently driving. Changing rides. Here's the leader, Davey Allison and Dale Earnhardt right on his back bumper. Allison, the black 28, Earnhardt, the black 3. Of course, everybody knows that.
Not necessarily. And Jerry Punch has a comment on Ernie Irvin, who's still running 3rd.
Well, there's a certain amount of guesswork in setting up a Winston Cup car, but this morning, apparently, the Kodak crew guessed correctly. One of the crew members told me that about 2 hours ago, they changed 3 springs in the car, both rear shocks, and totally readjusted the chassis. They hope they rolled the dice properly, and apparently, they did.
Car's right now. Car's working well. Here's Harry Gant trying to pick up another position, and look how close he comes to Jeff Bodine, and Mark Martin goes to the inside of Harry, making it 3 wide down the front stretch.
Well, that move's going to cost Harry Gant at least 2 positions. He thought he was going to pick up a position, but instead he got passed by both Mark Martin and Alan Kulwicki. Boy, don't take much of a slip, does it?
Man, oh man, they are really racing hard this early on in the race. I'm surprised we're only 20 laps into the race, and these guys are battling like it's the last 100 miles. Here comes Kenny Schrader back up in the back of that pack. He's about to catch Harry Gant.
And coming up on the pack is Dale Jarrett in the Citgo Ford. Now it's interesting to watch the throttle response there in the corners, just feathering it until he gets about midway through the second corner and then flooring it. Here's Mark Martin flooring it down the backstretch. He passes Jeff Bodine. Watch Alan Kulwicki now and Harry Gant.
Jeff Bodine starting to come back on the inside. Mark Martin realized that. He moved down the hill just a little bit to block that move by Bodine.
Mark Martin is now 4th, Bodine 5th. Again, Dale Jarrett closing in on the back bumper of Ken Schrader and Harry Gant up ahead.
Well, Schrader down on the bottom of the racetrack, going by Harry Gant with ease. Now Dale Jarrett pulls up on the inside and says bye-bye, Harry.
Yeah, he passed him with ease.
Boy, Harry was there trying to take over, what, 4th there a moment ago? And now he's all the way back to 9th.
It looked like Ned, when he slipped a little bit ago and got those rear tires hot, that he's having trouble getting the tires to come back and get the grip they were before that.
This is Dale Jarrett's bumper cam as we look back. Of course, not only is it interesting to see the top speed that he achieves at the end of the straightaway, but how much he slows down in the tournament. I think I've seen something in the 120s.
We saw 7,800 RPMs that time. That's the slowest straightaway, so he's probably turning 8,000 down the front straightaway.
Here's the Phillips 66 in-car camera being carried by Lake Speed as he is behind Bobby Hamilton, who now is tied in Winston Cup points with Ted Musgrave
For the Rookie of the Year battle.
Hamilton was the second-round fastest qualifier. Had an awfully good qualifying run here on Friday when the temperature was very, very high.
They're running 21st and 22nd. 26 laps have now been completed here at Darlington, and there are your top 5. It's Allison leading Earnhardt, Urban, Martin, and Jeff Bodine. Kowicki, Schrader, Jarrett, Gann, and Elliott in the second 5.
In trying to make an...
Davey Allison in the number 28. Avalon Texaco Ford. Second is Dale Earnhardt, and third is Ernie Irvan. We have completed 30 laps.
You talked about at the top of the show, Bob, a lot of money to be picked up by Davey Allison today. Kenny Schrader, the white 25, Alan Kowicki, the winner last Saturday night, in the orange and white 7.
They're running 6th and 7th. Ahead of them, Jeff Bodine. Jimmy Means is a lap car there in the Alka-Seltzer machine. Here comes Bodine. As Dale Jarrett goes to the inside of Ken Schrader. Can't make the pass.
Harry again tries to look on the outside of Dale Jarrett. This is lighting inside the car, right on the back bumper off Kenny Schrader. Here goes Kowicki down in turn 3, trying to take the ball away from Bodine. That's for 5th. He does it.
And now here comes Harry Gann challenging Dale Jarrett. And Gann will pass Dale in turn 4. Second place battle. Irvan takes Dale Earnhardt, and Ernie Irvan goes to second, but watch Earnhardt battle back.
I'll tell you what, Earnhardt, when his car is right, he is the toughest guy in the world.
Coming up behind him is Mark Martin. He has run him down after he got through that pack of traffic. There you can see him. He has been steadily gaining on Jack Tucson.
Darrell Waltrip continues to slip back.
And Martin just pulls up behind Earnhardt and goes by down the front straightaway.
Wow, Earnhardt goes from 2nd to 4th here in the last couple of laps. Now there's Darrell Waltrip as he continues to struggle here in the early going. And we have a spin in turn number 3. Chad Little loops down in turn number 3. Don't believe he hit anything. Brings the car onto the apron of the racetrack, but the yellow flies for the first time today. And Darrell Waltrip needs the pit stop, right, John?
Oh, you can't believe how happy Jeff Hammond and these guys are down here in the pits. Darrell has been riding on an equalized tire. They believe one of the rear tires is equalized. We're about 5-6 laps into the race. Jeff said, just stay out there, Darrell. Hang on to it. When the leaders finally catch you, then you come in and we'll change 4 tires. And would you believe it? Just before this caution came out, Darrell was supposed to pit the next time by. What a break.
And he wasn't too far from going a lap down, was he?
He was very, very close to going a lap down. Another 5 laps out there, and he would have been left.
So the yellow, the spin over in turn 3 by Chad Little is good news for Darrell Waltrip. The pits are closed right now because the pace car has not picked up the field. But in just a few moments as they come by next time here on the main straightaway, the pits will be opened and Waltrip will be able to get that much needed pit stop. And there is the indication that the pits are now open.
And the speed down pit road today is 60 miles an hour. Speed limit, I should say.
Takes advantage of the yellow flag. Nearly everyone will, as a few cars stay out, but not too many. Allison, Irvan, Martin, Earnhardt, Kowicki, and others.
I think every car that's pitted on the front straightaway will be coming in the pits. Jerry Punch?
Well, guys, it was a break for Darrell Waltrip, but also for Dale Earnhardt. You mentioned just before the caution came out that he had gone from 2nd to 4th because he may have had a tire problem. He radioed that there were possibly a flop with the rear tire. 28 on top, 3 on the bottom. You're looking at Davey Allison and Dale Earnhardt pit stop, Ford on top, Chevrolet on bottom, and they put left side tires on. Let's check in with John first. John?
You can see the smoke boiling off the brake rotors as the Kodak crew goes to work. They've already changed right sides. Earnhardt goes by. Ernie Irvan completed a 4-tire change in his way.
Schrader comes out, so does Gann, Elliott, Jarrett. Here comes Kyle Petty and Ricky Rudd. Darrell Waltrip remains on pit road. His position is down toward turn number 1. And finally, they get the work done on the Western Auto Chevy, and Waltrip goes back out onto the racetrack. Blake Speed, meanwhile, is pitted on the back stretch, and you can see while the activity ceases here on the main straightaway, it picks up on the back stretch. That's Rick Mast there in the school car, Richard Petty behind Michael Waltrip, and there is the contrast between back stretch and front stretch, as there is virtually no one pitted now here on the main straightaway. Joe Ruttman moves away, and there goes Rick Mast. Richard Petty still getting some service done on his car. Dave Marcus moving away. Now Petty finally goes out of the pits. Under our first caution of the afternoon here at Darlington for a spin over in turn 3 involving Chad Little. Back with more in just a moment. Pushed a lot of track position because of the second stop.
And the second stop was to take a rubber out of the spring. We think that's what it was. Is that it, Jerry?
Actually, Ned, it was to put a rubber in the right front. The right front is just too soft on the car number 9, the Coors Light Ford. The car is not handling well at all. Bill has complained about the ill handling situation of the car. They brought it down pit road. Crew chief Gene Roberts decided to go ahead and insert a rubber in the right front to stiffen that right front spring a little bit and hopefully make the car a little bit easier for him to turn in the corners.
Drop all the way back to 31st position for this restart, which is just about to happen as Doyle Ford looks him over. He waves the green flag, and we are back to racing on lap number 38 with Dale Earnhardt in command.
Well, that'll give Earnhardt those 5 bonus Winston Cup points. He tried to pass Davey Allison to get those points, but now the pit work of Richard Childers and the crew have put him up front and got those 5 bonus points, which could be very important at the end of the year.
That's Larry Pearson there in car number 41.
He's left down. They've just been left before the customer.
Mark Martin and Davey Allison are close behind Earnhardt. Mark Martin challenges Earnhardt. He gets the lead. Allison charges and takes second position from Dale. Now Allison and Earnhardt are wheel to wheel, and Earnhardt gets second position back.
That high groove, they're able to get that momentum off the corner, and the guys on the outside able to maintain down the straightaway. Now we see Earnhardt move over and let Davey go by on the outside.
Well, he led, got him 5 bonus points, and he knows patience is the key here. Jerry Punch?
That's exactly right, Ned. Their strategy is to let them race early. Is if they want to race and run their tires into the ground, let them go. Richard Childers said our strategy is we learned from testing down here. We need to let the track come to us. We're not going to burn up our tires and use up our race car. We want to win a championship, and we just might win it here today. So they're going to let them race, let them go by. He pulled over, and they went right by.
Well, as you guys have told us that have never driven in this race, that winning the Southern 500 can often give you a psychological advantage for the last 8 or so races of the year. And if Earnhardt can win this race and add to his points lead, he has a very good psychological advantage.
For 19 years, I was involved in the Winston Cup point battle, and I felt like when I got to the Southern 500 and was in the top 5, I had a chance to win that thing. But until then, I forgot all about the championship.
And it was absolutely the thing that propelled me to the championship in 1965. Coming in here in the real as we watched Dale Jarrett, his telemetry is to go down to 8,000 RPMs he got up to that time. But coming in here, Dick Hutchinson and I were in a real tight point battle. I won the race. Hutch had problems, and it just set me up to go and win the championship.
Here's Jeff Bodine picking up a position on Dale Earnhardt. So indeed, he's employing his strategy. He's dropping low now and giving the high groove to Alan Kowicki.
Well, he gave the high groove, yeah. But he also took off in that low groove. Now he moves down to the inside. That's the way he goes.
Everybody sitting in the grandstands thinking, what's wrong with Dale Earnhardt? But it's just the way they want to run the race right now.
That's normally not his style.
Bill Elliott has been charging again. He was 31st when they got the green flag for the restart, and he is steadily moving up now through the field and has only moved up 2 positions, 29th.
He steadily moved up to 29th, right?
Well, yeah. First 3 cars running right together on the racetrack. Martin, Allison, and Irvin. 2 of these 3 eligible for the $100,000 bonus. Now, we really haven't explained that bonus, but that's the one that allowed Bill Elliott to walk out of here in 1985 with $1 million. You win 3 of the 4 so-called Big 4 races, and you get $1 million. You win 2, and you get $100,000. Davey Allison, the pole sitter, is back in front.
Big car is fast. Not only on qualifying day, but on race day as well.
Here comes Ernie going by Mark. Mark got in the corner and slipped just a little bit. When he did that, Ernie saw the opening and seized it to take second place.
Mark Martin has moved to third in the Winston Cup points. He's only 175 behind Earnhardt, so his chance at winning the championship is not over yet by any means. And there is Ricky Rudd, who, of course, is second in Winston Cup points. He runs 17th at the moment.
And he's exactly where he doesn't want to be. He's in heavy traffic, cars all around him. There we see Kyle Petty in his first race back in front of Morgan Shepherd, Derek Cope, the Purelator Chevrolet.
Rick Wilson back there in car 8.
Ricky Rudd just doesn't want to be all around this traffic because if something happens in front of him, he's in the wreck. Just no dodging. No dodging the crashes, I should say.
Terry Labonte leading this group of cars down the main straightaway. This is the Igloo in-car camera being carried by Morgan Shepherd, monotrack Ford. He goes to the inside of Petty and takes over that spot. Now here comes Derek Cope.
He's alongside Kyle, and he takes the spot away going down in turn 3.
And Rusty Wallace, a little smoke coming from his car. He was running in front of Dale Jarrett there just a moment ago. Jarrett passed him going into turn 3. Rusty still running. It looks like at a pretty good rate. Sterling Marlin has moved up a little closer to him. Here's a battle between Alan Kawicki and Jeff Bodine.
This is for 4th spot. Kawicki to the inside and Bodine to the outside.
And we see Dale Earnhardt is backed up to the 6th position as Kawicki takes his spot away. Bodine thought about again coming back on the inside, chose not to. There again. Meanwhile, moved up to 7th. That's Kenny Schrader in 8th, the white car at the tail end.
Those in the Rusty Wallace pit are saying we don't know what this smoke is all about on Rusty's car. You remember Rusty finished last weekend at Bristol International Raceway in that event, so he's trying to improve on that situation. Up front, it is Davey Allison still leading Ernie Irvan here in the Southern 500. 15 laps have been completed. Here are the top 10 at the moment. We are live on ESPN Speed World. Bid for the lead, but backs off. Davey Allison, number 28, leads the race at the moment. 53 laps completed. Irving running second.
Ernie's got a very good car. It's amazing that they changed all those things this morning, and the car is able to handle that well. But I did see him on that first pit stop with that wrench in the back, going through the back window, making a serious adjustment to that car.
Yeah, you never know what the racetrack is going to be like on a given day, and you change those things around. There was a lot of scrambling going on yesterday in practice here. A lot of drivers changing, crews changing springs and shocks and things of that nature here yesterday.
Rusty Wallace continues to run at speed. We haven't seen the smoke from that car recently. And if he is having any trouble, the crew is not giving us any indication of what it might be. Now, that's Sterling Marlin, the Maxwell House Ford, running with Rusty. And now, once again, back up front, it's Irvan going for the lead, and he will get it from Davey.
Now, let's see if Davey's going to try to dive back on the inside.
I believe it.
Here he comes. Ernie said, "You dirty dog, let me lead this race."
You know, Ernie did that once before. He didn't learn, but up there did. He couldn't help it. That's the situation. Here he's going to try it again. Different part of the racetrack.
He might have it this time.
Well, there it
I don't know.
I can't imagine guys having fun doing this at 170 miles an hour, but I guess it is.
It is a lot of fun, man. Ernie Irvan finally has it. Now let's see if Davey's going to try to get him on the inside, or Ernie, will he finally lead a lap?
Hey, I think he backed off early enough going into 3 that time. He said, I'm not going to let that thing slip up the racetrack this time. I'm going to lead. And he does.
Yes, he does.
Davis not going to let him rest.
Now we see the smoke again from Rusty Wallace's car. Here comes Sterling Marlin.
Boy, he really made a serious run on coming off the turn 2. Garland will get that position. That's 11th and 12th they're running for. Let's go to Pearson John Kerner.
Talking with Eddie Dickerson, Rusty Wallace's crew chief, they put their heads together down here. They weren't quite sure what it might be, and now they've come up with what they think could be the problem. Said they have overfilled. We understand that Rusty's just now been given the black flag. They may have overfilled the transmission fluid. They're hoping that maybe some of that might have spilled out on the header pipes, but Rusty's being black flagged, and we may know more about the situation in just a few laps.
Rusty, of course, will have to come in and get the car checked over.
Ford needs to do that too in the green flag conditions because he knows he's going to lose at least a lap, and that's tough to make up here.
Especially when you're running in the top 15 as he is. And once again, the flag is shown to Rusty as he crosses the line.
I would imagine that he is going to run as many laps as he thinks he can get away with under the black flag situation, because if the caution flag were to come out right now, he could do this for free. As Ned said, as it is right now, he stops. He's going to lose a lap. There's no doubt about it.
Well, they will stop scoring him if they have given a black flag to him for what they believe to be an adequate amount of time. But no, he does heed the black flag. Or does he? No. He got off the banking, came down on the apron, looked like he was coming in. He decided not to. He stays out. And he didn't get the black flag that time.
No, he didn't. In fact, the flagman was motioning his head okay. Let's go back to Pearson John Kernan. What's going on?
Well, Eddie Dickerson is now in consultation with a NASCAR official. He told them about the possibility of overfilling the transmission, and it might be something as simple as the transmission fluid may have leaked out on the header pipes. And I think they may have bought that excuse for right now because they told Eddie to let Rusty know to go ahead and stay out. And as you said, he'd let him know just before he was going to make his entrance onto pit road.
So the NASCAR officials have apparently told Rusty to stay out there, and so he does. He dropped back several positions, but he's back in the line right now.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
I haven't either.
I don't think I've ever seen a black flag situation reverse like that. So what a break for Rusty.
Well, but it's fair. I mean, you know, if they got a situation that's not harmful to the other drivers out there, certainly it's the first time you see smoke, you think that it's maybe putting oil on the track, and it is a detriment to the other drivers. But once it was explained to them where it's coming from, then that probably is not harming anybody else, at least not for the present time, and I think it was fair, and that's not a good that way.
I agree there that we're looking at the Darrell Waltrip. His car running a little bit better now. This is inside the Phillips 66 car driven by Lake Speed.
Now Rusty is just ahead of Darrell, and so is Ricky Rudd. We're watching 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th, and Lake Speed is running in 20th position, and now to the inside of Darrell, but made no attempt to take that position. Now Lake does pass Darrell Waltrip, and here comes Kyle Petty.
Ooh, Kyle was down on the apron of the racetrack. Kyle, you missed the track there, buddy.
He was totally out of the groove, but he made it.
You see Kyle down the bottom of the racetrack. He's coming off 4. He got a little bit too far on the bottom.
Kyle Petty runs in 21st position.
They came down and did all that testing to see if his leg was going to be okay, Benny. Maybe he tried a new fly there. I don't think. Well, he's still down there. He's awfully low coming off of that turn.
As you watch Kyle Petty, he qualified 16th. It's been 16 weeks since he was out. I said Friday or Thursday, I told Felix it's an omen. And it was an omen. Friday afternoon, Felix Sabatas crashed his helicopter on the 16th fairway of the Grandfather Country Club.
Boy, you can laugh about that because nobody was injured in that helicopter crash, but man, what a way to...
He said, I thought about you when I found out it was a 16th fairway.
Man. Back up front, it is still a battle between Ernie Irvan in car number 4 and Davey Allison in number 28. 65 laps out of 367. That will make up the 42nd annual Southern 500. All you have to do is register, and then if you know who is leading at the halfway point and they call you back, you will win a Pontiac Grand Prix SE. The leader of the race at the halfway point picks up $10,000 from the White Card Halfway Challenge. We are yellow, and we assume it's because of Rusty Wallace, who was showing a lot of smoke that time.
Yeah, it looks like it was more than a transmission blowing out some oil, because the car's still running okay, but but he let out a big plume of smoke down in turn 1. And we could see the smoke coming out behind the car, but the car still seems to be running. Yeah. So evidently he's blown a line off or something.
Or a seal or something. Maybe out of the transmission.
It's going to take some work in the pits to fix it. That's for doggone sure. You're Ernie Irvan behind the pace car. He's heading for the pits.
They have to get down below 60 miles an hour. That is the speed limit coming in and out of the pits here at Darlington.
They also can't pass the pace car. As he goes by on the racetrack, they must stay behind him. That's what happened. They almost passed him.
Irvan, Allison, Earnhardt, Kowicki, Martin. Everybody is in. Jerry punches there.
And Davey Allison on the bottom of your screen. Ernie Irvan's Kodak Chevrolet on the top. So it's Chevrolet at top, forward, bottom. They now go to the left side of Davey Allison's car, changing right side tires. Similar to the left side of Ernie Irvan's car as they were changed, all 4 tires there. Tires went on the left side there, and now they're getting ready to drop Allison off the jack. He is down the way. A lot of trouble on the front there on Irvan's car. Kodak Chevrolet. Just now finishing up the left side of Irvan's car. He is now down and away. And while I got it, guys, I might want to mention that Bill Elliott is in the pits, but he has more problems than you might realize. He has now lost a cylinder on his car and is down on 7 cylinders.
Yeah, he didn't move up too fast from that 31st position that he had on the last restart. He went up to 28th and then lost the cylinder. Busy pits on the backstretch. Look at this as the pits here on the front straightaway again have become quiet. But a lot of activity, and Kyle Petty had the hood off on his mellow yellow Pontiac. But he goes back out onto the racetrack. And we are under our second caution of the day. This one to check the racetrack because some smoke was seen from the Rusty Wallace car. Thanks for joining us here at Darlington, South Carolina for the 42nd annual Heinz Southern 500. Back in a moment. The 41st Southern 500 took the green flag with Dale Earnhardt on the pole, looking for his second straight race win and $30,400 in Unocal bonus money. Bill Elliott, the other member of the front row, challenged Dale. Bill, a 3-time winner at Darlington in 1985, won $1 million bonus from R.J. Reynolds. Elliott would finish 4th today. Kyle Petty carried an in-car camera and was right behind a spinning Mark Martin and Alan Kowicki. Alan recovered to finish 3rd. Martin's tough day continued as he was involved in another spin. The Winston Cup point leader's edge on Earnhardt would slip to 26. He was able to only muster a 6th place finish. Earnhardt, meanwhile, dominated the race. It was his second straight Southern 500 win, 3rd in a row at Darlington, and 7th career victory at the track they call Too Tough to Tame. It was a big payday for Dale also. The race purse, a $100,000 bonus, and the Unocal bonus money. The Kannapolis, North Carolina driver was well on his way to a 4th Winston Cup title. And Dale Earnhardt has become back live. The green has just come out, and Earnhardt has taken the lead. Davey Allison charges up into 2nd position. Bobby Hamilton let him down as the green came out, and he slips back now. Earnhardt goes back in command.
Richard Childress and the crew, Ned, are doing a super job today. Earnhardt went in running about 4th or 5th, came out leading as he did the last time.
Well, I tell you, we've seen that so many times. That pit crew means a lot when you're trying to win championship.
Bobby Hamilton getting past there. Harry Gant comes around. So does Jeff Bodine and Ernie Irvan.
And Ernie Irvan was the loser in that pit stop. They had some trouble on the right front, as Jerry Munch told you, and he went from leading back to the 7th position.
And we also might mention that Ken Schrader, who was running up in the top 10, made an extra pit stop, and he has fallen back to near the tail of the field.
Yeah, he came back in and changed all 4 tires again. For some reason, he must not have liked the feel of those. Maybe had a little vibration or something as a caution. So Schrader is back at the back of the pack trying to come up through.
3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th here.
And Earnhardt once again just moves over down the back straightaway and says, hey, Davey, if you want to run that hard, be my guest. It's all yours. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, for Dale Earnhardt to do that way, but it's smart.
And Allison, of course, doesn't argue. He goes into the lead. Battle for 3rd between Martin and Gant now.
Martin
Mark Martin running right on the bottom of the racetrack. Both these cars running high, but he's running right on the bottom down in 1 and 2.
42 car of Kyle Petty, and a story on that from Jerry Punch.
While they were on pit road, they had the hood up on the Kyle Petty mellow yellow Pontiac. And Gary Nelson, what was the problem?
Well, we missed the chassis setup pretty bad. The car's pushing. We turned on the rear adjustment bolt so far that we ran out of adjustment, so now we're working on the front bolt. So we had to open the hood to do it.
So the car not handling for Kyle Petty. They're trying to get the car dialed in for him.
Well, we're here in the pits with Eddie Dickerson. Eddie, you had Rusty in twice under that caution that caused when that puff of smoke. Is the car okay? It looks like it, I guess.
It looked like we blew up there for a while, but the Miller Genuine Drift Pontiac's okay. We're blowing a little oil out of the vents on the valve cover, so we just wrapped some rags around it, and we're hoping for the best.
They got their fingers crossed down here in the pits, hoping those rags will keep the oil from coming back up through the breathers.
Rusty restarted 31st, has gained 3 positions since the green came out, and now Ernie Irvin and Jeff Bodine are involved in a side-by-side battle. Not anymore. 5th, and Ernie takes 5th. Jeff back to 6th. Meanwhile, is running pretty much by himself out there, and we'll bring in our telemetry here and show you. Now he sneaks up on Larry Pearson.
Well, up to 8,100 that time down the front straightaway. Jarrett had a rather long pit stop. They took the rubber out of the right front spring on the sit-go forward, so he dropped from 8th back to 18th position, but he's coming back up through there now.
Watch the speed increase. 60s into the 170s. 173, and he backs off. The RPM's got up to over 7,000 now. When you look at your tachometer on the car that you're driving on the highway, you will see a red line, which means don't exceed that. What is so-called red line on this kind of engine?
We saw 8,200 that time. We saw this car at Watkins Glen turn about 8,500. When I drove a race car, when it got to 8,000 feet, Bob, I lifted my feet because I knew I was fixing to blow up.
It was going to blow up.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, when I was driving race cars, Benny, when I got to 6,500, that's when I backed off.
Now, once in a while, you'll see on the left side of that telemetry, below the Ford logo, the brake come on, but you'll see that very little. It's only if he has to get on it to avoid a car in front of him.
There we see it.
Yep.
As he brakes going down in the corner still. Now off the brakes, back on the throttle. Just easy down. And he's trying to put the throttle up. And you can see where he has to really play with the throttle as he passes the max allowed Ford of Sterling Marlin.
Taking that spring out, that right front seemed to help him.
He has moved to an 11th. Dale Jarrett.
He was 18th when he came in the green flag where he waved.
So the throttle line goes all, and it's bouncing. It's not quite getting full throttle.
Well, that's because of the roughness here on the pavement is not smooth, and he thinks he's holding it wide open.
Here's Ernie Irvin passing Harry Gant. That's for 4th position.
Ernie is definitely on the move.
3rd is Martin, 2nd Earnhardt, and the leader is Davey Allison. Then Gant, then Bodine behind her. Things settling down here to a nice pace. Nobody really racing now like they were in the first 40 or so laps of this race. 83 circuits have been completed. The lead continues to be held by Davey Allison at Darlington, the track too tough to tame. 3rd time this afternoon, the yellow coming out on lap number 85. It's been out for 1 full lap because of debris. And Jerry Punch is there where Bill Elliott has come in again.
They keep trying to dial in this Coors Light Ford of Bill Elliott here. They changed right side, and now they will change left side tires. Remember, they'd come in a little while ago and inserted the rubber in the right front to try to stiffen the right front, and now they have the right front tire off as a crew working up there. They have already taken the left side lug nuts off, so they're going to have to hustle because they still have to come around and change left side tires once they drop the jack on the right side of the car. Now the hood is back up on Kyle Petty's car, and you heard Gary Nelson mention they were going to try to make some adjustments in the right front of the car to get the car to handle better. They had used all the wedge bolts they could use in the rear of that mellow yellow Pontiac, and now the hood is down and he is away, and they put the left side tires back on Bill Elliott's Ford, and he indeed begins to pull away.
Terry, it looked like they might have taken a half rubber out of that thing, the right front spring on Bill Elliott's car that time. They put one in, and it looked like they took one out.
So under caution because of debris on the racetrack here at Darlington with 87 laps completed. Davey Allison still leads. Car camera, one of 3 that we have operating today here at the Heinz Southern 500 at Darlington. Tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, the fastest hour in football. NFL prime time here on ESPN as we get a chance to wrap up everything that happened today in the first Sunday of the NFL season with Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, and Robin Roberts. NFL prime time tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. Next time around, they'll be getting the green flag. We'll get underway once again. It's Allison, Earnhardt, Martin, Irvin, and Gant, the top 5. Crowd still on its feet, hasn't sit down yet since the green flag dropped almost an hour ago. And the green is out for the 3rd time this afternoon on a restart. And here we go back to racing.
We see the 8. Looks like the 8 car had some trouble on the start of the race, and some cars had to move out and go around him.
Derek Cope bumping just a little, I think.
I guess that would be a problem.
Earnhardt goes for the lead again at the end of the backstretch as once again the lead changes hand. But watch Allison come back on. Nope, he's not going to be able to.
Earnhardt knew that was coming, so he said, I am not going to leave that spot open and look silly once again. I'm going to block that spot, and he did. Chad Little caused our first caution flag, and we seen smoke out of Chad Little's car as he got back on the throttle.
Now, he is not in the lead lap.
No, he was our first caution he spun up in the corner.
Look how close the all-time battle is. Ford, of course, because of their dominance in the early part of NASCAR racing, has the lead overall, but Chevy is sneaking up on that total of 380. They won't, of course, do it this year, but they could next year.
This is outside turn 2. We also have another camera stationed outside turn 4. And as we'll switch bit, watch them, and here they come. I think you can tell just how fast these cars are running as they go by that camera.
They also come very close to that wall in Ford. Earnhardt continuing to lead Davey Allison.
What's Earnhardt saying, Ned? Hey, you guys are not running fast enough. I think I'll just run off and hide from you. What do you think?
I would say that he's thinking, well, as long as I can lead comfortably, I'm going to do it. And apparently he was able to take the lead there. But if David gets up there pushing him, I'll bet he'll move over and let him go again.
Chad Little smoking there and everybody going around him. It's difficult to pass on this racetrack even if you're going slower than the rest of the field, as is the case with Chad Little.
Yeah, and even if he moves over like Chad is doing, allowing him to go by, it still is a little difficult.
It is, because we see Rick Wilson trying to get by Chad Little as Chad Little went the corner and drifted up. Now, the last time by Doyle Ford, the flagman waved the move-over flag at Chad Little as he's doing right now and saying, hey, get out of these fellas' way. You're a lap down. They're not. Speaking of flagman, did you tell me that Harold Kinder was gone?
That was the word we got just a few minutes before going on the air. Harold Kinder, who, of course, was so many years in the flag stand as the official NASCAR starter, was taken to Mercy Hospital in Charlotte, North Carolina last night for a perforated intestine and is in critically ill condition. So our prayers and our thoughts are with Harold Kinder and his family in this time of need.
Certainly so.
Michael Waltrip, Bobby Hamilton, that's Greg Sachs in the white and blue 47. That's 20th, 21st, 22nd. Brett Bodine, the Quaker State Buick, following that group.
And the 1980 winner of the Southern 500, Terry Labonte, in the pits in the Sunoco Oldsmobile. An unscheduled pit stop for him, changing right side tires. Now they go around to the left side. He goes a lap down as the leaders come off of turn 4. Tough break for Terry Labonte.
The Billy Hagan-owned car sits on pit road as the field streaks by on the straightaway, and now they have the work completed, and Labonte goes back out onto the racetrack, but a costly pit stop for Terry.
I would think that their thinking is that we're going to get lapped if we change 2 tires. We might as well change 4 and lose a lap and a half and have a better chance of running better for an extended period.
Yep. Good thinking.
The 21 car of Dale Jarrett and the 15 car of Morgan Shepherd have been battling out there.
And Jarrett just went around Shepherd going into turn 3. Took over that position.
Jarrett is strong. He's up to 8th. Morgan Shepherd is 9th.
And Morgan Shepherd is getting a good look at the car he's going to be driving next year, because it was announced he will drive the 21 car.
Let's just listen and watch the telemetry here. Decreasing revs, and you can see it there on the RPM telemetry meter.
Not quite up to the RPMs he was a little bit earlier because the tires are heated up. He's not turning the lap speeds he was when we saw it just after he had put on 4 new tires. So as the speeds slow down a little bit with the hotter tires, then of course the RPMs slow down a little bit.
Now, we saw Morgan Shepherd slip and wiggle badly up in turns 1 and 2 just a moment ago.
Cost him a lot of ground, didn't it?
Yeah, we can see just how much ground he lost because of that slip.
Rusty Wallace smoking pretty badly again. Coming off of turn 4.
A lot of smoke seen from the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac. He's coming up on Darrell Waltrip, and Ken Schrader, and the black flag once again is shown to Rusty Wallace. He'll have to come in again and have that car checked over.
I'll tell you, Michael Waltrip running behind him there is sort of on pins and needles. He don't know if that thing's fixing to dump a lot of oil, rotting his tracks, or what the situation is as Schrader and Waltrip battle for position. Rusty's still running strong. His car is not slowing down because of whatever is causing that smoke.
We have completed 100 out of 367 laps in the Heinz Southern 500. Rusty's still out there, and there's the black flag for the second time shown to him.
And we can see Michael Waltrip move over. One reason he did that is because they said the car might blow up, but also that oil is getting on his windshield. He wanted to move over and get behind that car down the straightaway.
Rusty's running 17th. Now he moves down on the inside groove, as you start to say, Bob.
Yep, and he will heat the black flag this time and come in. And the Miller Genuine Draft crew gets ready for him. What if they're just going to put more rags on this thing and try to stop it again? John, what's the situation?
Well, they've got the rags and the tie wraps sitting out here on the pits. It looks like they're going to change tires first, take on 4 tires, then they will go under the hood, and they've got some more rags and tie wraps waiting, and that apparently is what the Miller Genuine Draft crew will do as Rusty brings the Pontiac to a stop here in the pits. They will go to work. He shuts off the engine right now. They might as well go ahead and change tires because it's going to take them a little while to get under the hood, and they're going to lose some laps effectively going out of contention.
You see him put the tire on backwards. Eddie almost put the tire on backwards.
NASCAR officials watch closely as they try to get this oil leak repaired.
They knew exactly what they was going to do.
Yep, they work with precision, don't they?
Yep. Somebody rolled into the tire backwards. When he threw it up there, he realized it would not go on that way.
Hood goes down. Rusty patiently waiting. He's lost 2 laps.
No, he's not patient. He's waiting.
There he goes.
And the leaders now, Dale Earnhardt is coming off from turn 4. Rusty might get out and stay in front of Earnhardt to keep from going another lap down.
So Dale Earnhardt continues to lead this race. We'll take a look at the top 20 as Davey Allison is in second position by about 2 or 3 car lengths. 104 of the 367 laps that will make up this race have been completed on an overcast day in South Carolina. Live coverage here on ESPN Speed World of the Heinz Southern 500. We'll be back in just a moment. Move back to the front of the Heinz Southern 500. Earnhardt is second, followed by Mark Martin, Harry Gant, and Ernie Irvan. It's been basically a battle here in the first 108 laps between Allison and Earnhardt. First one will lead, then the other. And there are 29 cars on the lead lap.
And the 26 car, Brett Bodine, is getting the black flag, Bob. The window net has come loose on his Quaker State Buick. So he'll be going into the pits on the backstretch. Tough break. Tough break for Brett Bodine. The window net coming loose. Let's see if he does anything else. He probably should. They run a while on his tires while he's in there. Probably go ahead and change tires. Maybe.
That's right. Most cars show the on this last caution flag, so we'll have to see. No. They're not changing tires. They're just putting the net up.
Well, the owner of this car, Kenny Bernstein, is often here at a Winston Cup race, but not this weekend. He's got business of his own at the U.S. Nationals in Indianapolis going on this weekend. And now the 10 car of Derek Cope has come in here on the front pits. They've got the right side up on that. Jerry, what's the problem with Derek Cope?
Last time by, Bob, he tapped the wall twice coming out of turn 4. I'm not sure whether he may have had a tire going down. They're trying to pull some of the sheet metal away from the right rear and change the right side tires. He is down and away, but he has lost a lot of time under the green flag.
Look how sandblasted the nose of that car is, because he's been back running about 10th or 12th behind cars this whole race, and just in 100 miles he's knocked all the paint off the nose of that car. And that's a tough break, because Derek Cope had a good run going.
Yeah, it is. He was running in 13th position. Well, let's check on our in-car cameras. The Phillips 66 in-car camera carried by Lake Speed. He is currently shown 23rd on the lead lap. How about Morgan Shepherd in the Igloo in-car camera? He's 9th. Got some clean racetrack ahead of him.
If we could see right around that car right around in front of Morgan is the 21 car. Our next in-car camera, the sit-car camera, he's running 8th.
Sit-go camera.
And he's trying to take some move.
Yeah. That's Alan Kulwicki ahead in the Hooters Ford. And a battle for second place now as Earnhardt and Mark Martin go at it. Allison has pulled away a little bit from Dale. Well, let's go down to John Kernan, who can explain more about this Rusty Wallace problem that has emerged.
Well, Bob, last time, instead of putting the rags directly over the breather like this, what they did is they took the old breathers off and put a couple dry ones on. So this is one of the dry ones, or one of the ones they took off of the car. It's already got the oil in it and is all set to run out on the racetrack. So they've taken a rag and wrapped it around the breather, tied it down, and so next time they get a chance, if they don't have any more problems, they'll come back in and put this one back on. They hope that that solves the problems, but right now they're consulting with each other, and they've got their fingers crossed down here.
Rusty has dropped all the way back to 32nd position and lost 2 laps while they were trying to correct that problem. Meanwhile, up front, it is still Allison, and now Mark Martin in second position. Earnhardt going for 3 consecutive Southern 500 wins. Is there pressure, Dale?
It really doesn't matter. I'm going to be trying hard to win if it was 5 in a row or the first one. You know, we've got a good combination here with the car. The guy's real consistent, running some good consistent laps on the racetrack, and that's right up our alley. We're looking forward to getting there, and the tires are going to be wearing, and things are going to get hot, and it's going to be slick, and it's going to be right down our alley.
And it looks as if Earnhardt has adopted the attitude once again of let everybody go and set the pace for a while. He's dropped back to 4th, and Irvin is right behind him.
I thought I saw the car wiggle up between turn 1 and 2 that time. Earnhardt's car I was talking about. Yep. And it lost a little momentum because Ernie was able to pass him, but fairly at ease down the back straight of it.
Now Michael Waltrip, Sterling Marlin, Bobby Hamilton, Joe Ruttman, Kyle Petty, Darrell Waltrip are all running together out there.
And Ricky Rudd is right behind him. You see the 42 car right behind him is the fellow that's second. There he is in the Winston Cup point standings. Ricky Rudd. Ricky, you don't want to be behind all this group of cars.
I asked Ricky while they were introducing the drivers down there today before the race how he felt that his car was set up pretty good. He said, no, I don't really feel good about it. He said, we didn't bring the car back here that we won the race with in the spring. because somebody getting the black flag. It was not the car number 87 of Randy Baker. But he said they ran it at Bristol last week and got it pretty banged up. They'll run it at Richmond next week. But said just this car they thought would run real good. They said he's never been ready to get it set up the way they would like. So he's out there riding, trying to get as much out of it as he can.
Look at Kyle Petty on the bottom of the racetrack. Kyle, you still missing the racetrack.
But he's only 17th.
That car's stuck like glue on the bottom of the track. Hey, maybe he found something, guys.
Right in.
I know one thing, Kyle. You impressed me with that move.
Sterling Marlin's car doesn't seem like it's working too good.
Well, it was working good to begin with, but all of a sudden, he's having some problems.
Kyle Petty in 17th, and this is how he picked up that one spot. Watch him go way down low.
The white line is the racetrack. I mean, above that's the racetrack, not below it, I thought.
Well, maybe those laps that he ran here a week and a half ago to see if he was fit to drive, maybe he did learn something because he's using an unorthodox line in there at turn 4.
Maybe that's why I never won the Southern 500. I couldn't remember what a racetrack was.
So Kyle hangs back there in 17th position. Meanwhile, up front, it is still Davey Allison who leads Mark Martin, Harry Gant, Ernie Irvin, and Dale Earnhardt. We'll take another break and be right back with more from Darlington. Our halfway challenge is coming up. To register to win the contest, dial 1-900-737-1100. All you have to do is register and know who is leading at the halfway point if they call you back. And you tell them who was leading at the halfway point, you will win a brand new Pontiac Grand Prix SE. And of course, the driver who is leading at the halfway point will earn $10,000. The halfway point is 184, and we have completed 123. So get your dialing fingers ready. Now, that black car there in the middle of your screen, of course, is Dale Earnhardt, who has fallen back to 6th position. And the question becomes, is there a problem with the car? Are the tires just getting wore out? Or is he employing his strategy that he talked about earlier?
I don't think he wants to go back that far, Ned. He's a half straightaway behind our leader, Davey Allison, right now.
Yeah, it's the car. We've seen it slip a few times, especially in turns 1 and 2. So might be getting a little bit loose. He's been out there a long time on this set of tires. In fact, he's been out there about 54 laps. This is the longest green flag run that we've seen. So
here comes Kwiatkowski on the inside of Earnhardt. Has position and takes the spot away. Once again, I think Earnhardt slipped up in 1 and 2, lost his momentum after he came off the corner, and that allowed Kwiatkowski to go by.
He's back to 7th. Speaking of seeing Kyle Petty, I don't know whether he's slipping or not, but he's outside the traditional groove here in Darlington in turn number 4. Let's go down to Jerry Punches with Gary Nelson.
Gary, we're seeing Kyle take a rather unusual line on the racetrack. He's all the way to the inside. What gives?
Well, the car's still pushing pretty bad. We've made a lot of improvements on it, and he said that if he drives down on the flat part of the track and frees it up a little bit, but he's really working hard to keep up with the leader. We're at least running even with the leaders now, but we're not going to be happy until we get up front.
Well, that's the real reason. A minute ago, I asked one of the crew members, he said, well, maybe Kyle has been driving on the beach so much the last month and a half at Charleston, maybe he thinks the tide's coming in.
Kyle Petty 16th at the moment, and there he was running really low down there in turn number 4. There is Davey Allison, who is leading the race. We're about 8 laps away from when we anticipate pit stops beginning, so we're going to take another break from the action and be back to catch all the activity in the pit area here at the Southern 500. Of 367 laps completed here at Darlington. The top 5 are Davey Allison, Mark Martin, Harry Gant, Ernie Irvin, and Jeff Bodine. Our Speed World coverage.
Come off the wall, go around, and go to work on the right side. We're not anticipating any chassis adjustment at the point. You might look and see on the front that they're trying to knock off a piece of plastic, a sandwich wrapper or something that it got itself stuck to the grill. They will get that away. They have to have that away so the car can get cooled properly. Right sides are already on, left side's going on. See a little smoke boiling out from the brakes. We'll use the brakes just a little bit. A very good pit stop. It looks like as far as down and away with Ford and tires.
Dale Jarrett had the lead, but now he brings the Simcoe Ford in for a stop.
Staying within the rules, under 60 miles an hour. I think he ran out of gas, Bob, as he came off of turn 2 over there. He might have stayed out one way, but he did get back to the pits, but it cost him a little extra time. And you can see the engine still going at about 3,000 RPM, so he's trying to keep it going while they change the tires, clean the windshield. They've already got the right side tire changed, now goes the left side.
You can also see that he's in first gear waiting for the work to be completed.
Also, the key, one thing he needs to do is keep his foot on the brake so the tire doesn't turn. He does that, and away he goes. Accelerates once again, 50 miles per hour, 56 as he exits. He's out of pit stop so he can accelerate up to speed.
And accelerate he does.
That platform of the racetrack, you can't hit the throttle when he gets through there. Has to play with the throttle, play with the throttle. Now as he goes down the back straightaway, he can nail it and go down the back straightaway and shift into fourth gear.
The 17 car of Darrell Waltrip has come in for a pit stop. John Kernan.
Well, recall earlier how Darrell needed the luck. He's still on the lead lap, and he was running third before diving into the pits for a four-tire change. They have bumped up the spoiler on the last pit stop. He can get a little more downforce. Darrell had been complaining about the car being just a little bit loose. No chassis adjustment this time. They're full of gas. Darrell will cut the engine and heads down pit road.
Darrell Waltrip, a four-time winner here at Darlington, 3 times in the Southern 500.
But he's about to go a lap down. I think Harry Gant perhaps got out the pits first on all of these pit stops. He's in front of Davey Allison, and Harry going around now, coming up to catch Darrell Waltrip going into turn 3.
Kyle Petty comes in. Let me correct that. Darrell Waltrip has never won the Southern 500. He's won the Trans-South 500 4 times. Kyle Petty looking for his first win here in this race, and he brings the mellow yellow Pontiac to a stop.
Well, let me correct myself. There are some cars that have not made a pit stop. Bobby Hamilton is being shown as the leader. Kyle Petty was in second. Ricky Rudd is up to second place now. So some of those drivers have not made pit stops yet, as Kyle Petty does get 4 tires on the mellow yellow Pontiac.
The 68 car of Bobby Hamilton is the leader at the moment, but he is now on pit road, and so is Ricky Rudd, who was running second. Hamilton stops. Ricky Rudd pitted down toward turn number 1.
Ricky Rudd was hoping that 68 car Bobby Hamilton would make a pit stop before he did so he could pick up 5 bonus points. It didn't happen. John Kernan is there to call this pit stop.
Well, once again, nothing unusual here at the pits. They've already changed the right side tires. It will be a 4-tire change. A couple cans of gasoline going in. Of course, this Waddell Wilson powered car, good gas mileage, excellent gas mileage. As his other Hendrick teammate, Ken Strainer, Ricky is down and away with 4 fresh tires.
Good clean pit stop there. 21 seconds from the Rick Hendrick crew, and Ricky Rudd goes back out onto the racetrack, and right behind him is Bobby Hamilton. Now the lead at the moment is assumed by, because of pit stops, the number 1 car of Rick Mast. So we're going to take a break and be back to update you on the standings here in the Heinz Southern 500, nearing the halfway point. We'll be right back. Back at Darlington International Raceway, and the 7 car of Alan Kowicki suddenly develops a problem as he went into turn number 1, drops the Hooters Ford off the banking. A lot of smoke coming from the car. Will there be a yellow?
Rick Mast hopes so. He has not made a pit stop yet. He's still leading the race, as Alan Kowicki has pulled the window net down.
You can bet that the crew is telling Rick to stay out there at least for the next couple of laps to see if this does create a yellow, but I don't think it's going to, because Alan has that car well down on the apron of the track, and in fact is on pit road at the moment.
Tough break for Alan Kowicki. He will not make it 2 wins in a row. He was a winner last Saturday night, but he will not win today as he takes the car back in the garage area.
Rick Mast is leading, and now he will think about making a pit stop.
And after that caution didn't come out. Harry Gant is second. Davey Allison third. Mark Martin fourth, and Ernie Irvin fifth. Of course, all of them have made pit stops. Rick Mast in the Skoal Classic Oldsmobile, and he's coming up to pass him, and Rick has got a pit stop to make yet. So Gant's about to take the lead. So Rick is going to have to fight hard to stay in the lead lap when he makes his pit stop.
And there is Gant going to the front.
And Darrell Waltrip, he is a lap down now to Harry Gant.
Shown in 20th position. Darrell Waltrip is running second now. Actually, third is Davey Allison.
As soon as he passes the one car, he will be the second place car.
And he is about to do that.
And our second man in the point standing, Ricky Rudd, is a lap down too. After all these pit stops, we'll get everybody squared away on who is a lap down. Ricky Rudd is currently in what, 22nd position, 1 lap down.
Allison taking to third.
And we see Davey Allison go below that white line as well. Catching a little bit of the apron with his left side.
You know, Benny, Gary Nelson made the point that the car has been tight. You can only do that with a race car that the back end is really sticking tight on it to get down on that flat part of the racetrack.
Let's go to Jerry Punch, who's with Alan Kulwicki.
As you said, Bob, last week's winner has climbed out of it awfully early here. And Alan, what's the problem?
Something happened to the engine. I'm not sure what. I think it probably burned a bearing or something. That's too bad because Ford Thunderbird was running good. We were 5th, 6th, 7th, someplace like that, but running well and keeping up. Trying to stay out of trouble and driving conservative racing. Something happened to the engine, but that's racing. That's the way it goes. We had a good week last week and problems this week, but we'll be back.
Even able to manage somewhat of a smile here under adverse conditions at Darlington. Rob?
Alan Kulwicki behind the wall and out of the Southern 500. And when you are following a car that whose engine suddenly erupts, this is what it looks like. A big puff of smoke, and Dale Jarrett takes the Citgo Ford to the inside and tries to get out of the way of Alan Kulwicki.
Well, he didn't know which way to go because he saw that smoke, didn't know if it's going to drop oil on the track and he might spin in front of him. But he was able to maneuver around it and everything okay, no caution.
We know Dale Jarrett's heart is good and sound, because otherwise he would have had a heart attack right there.
Jeff Bodine and Dale Earnhardt are running together.
That's Dale Jarrett, Bob.
Well, he just passed Dale Earnhardt the lap before, now coming up on Jeff Bodine. See Earnhardt, you can see the corner of his black Chevrolet back there. Jarrett stayed out there a little longer than the others to lead a lap and got a little further behind. He was running 5th right before they started making their pit stops, and then dropped back to about 9th, but now working his way back up. That puts him in 5th place.
Rusty Wallace making a pit stop. John Kernan reports.
Well, apparently to what we showed you, how they remedied the oil blowing out of the breathers has worked. We haven't seen any more smoke out of the number 2 Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac. They are going to go to work on a 4-tire pit change. They are now around the left side. Work going on fast and furious here in the pits. Let's go down to Jerry Punch.
Likewise, an unscheduled stop down here. Bill Elliott is in and way. A great stop for the Coors Light crew. They changed all 4 tires here. A possible vibration or tire going down. Elliott is back to turn 1.
Harry Gant and Ken Schrader
putting a lap on Ken Schrader. Schrader stowing in 13th position, so boy, they're mowing them down. Those that were in the lead lap about not to be.
Harry Gant is the leader of the race and has just lapped a 13th place car.
Darrell Waltrip, here's the six car of Lake Speed going in the pits, coming in the pits.
He's pitted on the back stretch.
So he's exiting the pit.
Well,
yeah, he's coming down the front straightaway here right now.
That's right. He's coming down the front stretch.
Very slow down the front stretch, we might add.
And he's getting the black flag shown again to Chad Little, who is still smoking. We thought that he'd blown up a while back, but he's still out there running. The Bullseye Barbecue Sauce Ford, and that's the Puff Artist Pontiac at Lake Speed, Mikhail Yarborough.
This looks pretty serious, as slow as he's going. Lake Speed looks like an engine problem to me, as he just casually is. He's checking the tachometer to see how many RPMs he was turning. Or maybe he was checking the tachometer to reset it so they would know how many RPMs he was turning.
Now he has entered pit road and heads for his assigned stall.
The fellas I mentioned, we saw Rick Mast leading that race for a while, and then before he made his pit stop, and Harry Gant passed him, and I made mention of the fact that he had be hard-pressed to stay in the lead lap. Well, he since has made a pit stop, and he did not stay in the lead lap. In fact, Wick is currently being shown in 21st position, 1 lap behind the leaders.
And instead of going to his assigned pit position, Lake Speed takes the car behind the wall as they raise the hood and try to find the problem on that car. Harry Gant from Taylorsville, North Carolina, leads the Southern 500. Are 21 laps away from the halfway point as Harry Gant has the lead in the Southern 500. And the skies are looking rather gray back off of turn number 4. Harry Gant's old Bandit is showing the way nicely. You can see the dark sky there behind Harry. 30% chance of rain going into this event. And John Kernan has a story on tires on pit road.
Well, Bob, actually, I'm in the Goodyear building. You can see these guys, the tire busters, are going wild right now. Over the weekend, Goodyear brought 2,800 tires for this weekend. So far in this race, between the pit stops, you've had teams come in and have them take off the old tires, put on new tires. They've already changed 108 tires. And I'll tell you what, they got a tractor trailer truck sitting next to this building that is full of new tires. So these teams shouldn't have any problems getting the tires they need for the race.
We have seen some tire shortages that took place in the past.
I remember well the tire shortage. And sorry, Dad, I didn't mean to scare you, but 1968, driving Junior Donlevy's car with Bullseye Barbecue Sauce sponsorship, we felt like we could have won the race if we could have found 2 more sets of tires. We could not find enough tires to run the race on. Junie, remember that?
Well, there are only 10 cars on the lead lap now, fellas. Harry Gant setting a terrific pace, and he's about to put the 10th place car of Rick Wilson a lap down. That's Jimmy Spencer running. They're running 9th and 10th. Harry Gant the leader. The Snickers Buick of Rick Wilson. There you see Davey Allison, how far behind he is. That's the biggest lead we've seen anyone have today.
Harry Gant is really moving, and right now those cars in front of Harry Gant's holding him up and letting Davey Allison get a little bit closer than he was just a few laps ago, because Rick Wilson and Morgan Ship and Jimmy Spencer.
And there's the 3rd place car of Mark Martin.
Those fellas trying to stay in the lead lap, that they're holding Harry Gant up a little bit.
But he just motored around on the inside of Rick Wilson in turn 4 and got him a lap down. Rick's in 10th.
Now we're looking for the number 4 car, which is in 4th position. There he is.
He's pretty far behind.
Yep.
And even farther behind then is the 5th place car. Dale Jarrett there. He comes off of turn 4. He's about half a lap behind Harry Gant.
Field strung out somewhat. And behind Dale Jarrett would be Dale Earnhardt and then Jeff Bodine. As the telemetry goes to work once again, and we see again the RPM, the miles an hour, and the amount of throttle that Dale is using.
We're up to 8,200 RPM there again.
Now listen and watch the relationship between the throttle and the noise.
Well, I never thought I'd get to ride inside of my son's race car in the Southern 500, but that's about,
close, isn't it?
yeah, that's about as close as you'll ever get.
Banking at 25 degrees in the first and second turns, and 23 degrees in turns 3 and 4. Morgan Shepherd with the Wood Brothers next year. There's Gant, completing lap number 170. We've got 14 more to go before the halfway point.
You know that Leo Jackson, his car owner, and Andy Petrie, the crew chief, they know that $10,000 is up for grabs.
Let's go to Jerry Punch for an update on the weather. Jerry?
Guys, we've retreated back to the garage area inside the NASCAR trailer, where the NASCAR officials are able to sit here and monitor the weather. They can also watch our telecast here. You see the monitor we're using here inside the trailer. And but we'll show you the weather radar here just to the right of the monitor. Now, Darlington Raceway is actually this small dot here in the middle. You see South Carolina, North Carolina. The only shower we're seeing right now is about 20 miles north of Myrtle Beach, just off the coast. Looks pretty good here in the area. If there's any precipitation at all, it's going to be very, very light. So it's overcast, but right now, no threats of rain, guys.
And let's hope that continues so that we can get a full 500 miles in here this afternoon. In an event that has seen rain in the past.
Harry Gant would probably just as rather we not see 500 miles.
Hey, Marcus's car smoking.
The Big Apple Market Chevrolet.
26th in the grid right now.
Yeah, right in front of Dale Earnhardt smoking badly. Earnhardt slows down, but Marcus not putting any oil on the racetrack, or doesn't seem to be putting any oil on the racetrack.
So as a result, no caution yet. There's Gant putting a lap on the 8th place car of Morgan Shepherd.
Man, Harry is just making a shambles of this thing.
Jerry Cope follows him by.
And 11 more laps to go now to the halfway point. We're on lap number 173. And Derek Cope is challenging the leader, Harry Gant, down the backstretch. Back with more right after this. Labor Day tradition. 42nd annual running of this affair, and Harry Gant, the winner of the Southern 500 back in 1984, is leading this one.
Here's Davey Allison, the second place car right at the top of the screen. The black car with the red hood. There he goes.
He's not that far behind, is he?
No, he's not. He's keeping Harry Gant in sight anyway.
Third place is Mark Martin.
Boy, Davey could pick up a lot of money if he can win the race today.
And could amount to over $300,000 if Davey could win here with a couple of bonuses added.
He's already won over $1 million this year, so it's not like he needs the money, but it's nice to have.
And he's the only Winston Cup driver who has earned over $1 million just in this season alone. His winnings total $1,020,850. Harry Gant, on the other hand, who finds himself in 10th place in the point standings, has earned $410,185 so far this year. Just 20 wins. Schrader and Ernie Irvin are running together. They are not on the same lap. Ernie Irvin is on the lead lap and in fact is in 4th position, and Ken Schrader is 1 lap down in 14th.
We see Irvin go down and touch the apron with his left side, so his car evidently pushing a little bit too, Ned, as he comes off the corner.
Yeah, it looks like pushing a little bit, and he's been riding a little bit high down in turns 3 and 4. I mean, 1 and 2.
4 laps to go to the halfway point. Harry Gant leading. He will win $10,000 from right guard if he is leading in 4 more laps, and somebody is going to win the Pontiac Grand Prix SE. If you have registered for the right guard halfway challenge and you are called back, car. It's been a clean race so far. The average speed above the track record, the average 136.8, and the track record is 135.4. We've only been slowed by 3 caution periods.
They were not very long.
Yeah, 1 for a spin involving Chad Little. We had some oil that they checked coming from Rusty Wallace's car, and then we had some debris on the racetrack. But other than that, it's been a very clean and a very safe Southern 500.
And I'm sure Harry Gant wouldn't mind seeing this thing go green flag the rest of the day.
Davey does, though, seem to be keeping up with his pace, not letting him get any further ahead. There's 182 completed, 2 more to go. There's Allison and the interval between him and Harry Gant.
Yeah, and it's not like I'm giving the race to Harry Gant because there's 2 laps to halfway. I mean, we still got 250 miles to race here this afternoon, and anything can happen in the stock car race. We all know that.
Gant coming up on some heavy traffic coming off of turn 4. You can see that traffic in front of him.
One more to go. One to go to the halfway point. He's coming up on Rick Mast, who at one time was a leader of the race, but now is 1 lap down, running in 20th position, and may go 2 laps down here. Look at this, 145.06, the last lap speed for Harry Gant. He is in the 4th turn, headed toward the halfway point. Here he comes behind some slower traffic. But there is the halfway point of the race. Harry Gant is the leader at the halfway point. Harry Gant is the leader of the halfway challenge. And when and if you are called back by the right guard people and they ask you who is leading at the halfway point, tell them Harry Gant, and you will win a new Pontiac Grand Prix SE. Davey Allison appears to be on the move here.
Well, what happened? Harry Gant ran behind the slope traffic, and they held him up for just a little bit. That let Davey catch Harry for a second or two, and now Davey's in that traffic. Harry will probably stretch it back out.
There's a Big A Auto Parts on-track interval. We timed both Gant and 3rd place Mark Martin on 5 consecutive laps, laps 172 through 176, and compared their times to see if the interval was stretching between the 1st and the 3rd place cars. It was 6.1, and it really didn't change after 5 laps.
Said about the same thing. So Mark Martin is running about the same speed as Harry Gant. The unfortunate thing for Mark Martin, he's about a straightaway behind Harry Gant.
And Harry Gant is coming up to put a lap on Jeff Bodine, who is currently being shown in 7th position. Only 7 cars are on the lead lap, and that 7th place is about to go a lap down. The Budweiser Ford of Jeff Bodine.
I tell you what, Harry Gant's car is really moving. But Jeff doesn't want to go a lap down, so he's trying his best to race Harry. Harry's going to try to get under him, and he does it up in between 3 and 4. That's Randy Baker directly in front of Harry Gant.
Well, we know how well this car is running. Let's get the opinion from the pit area as we talk to Andy Petrie.
Well, Bob, Andy is sitting here timing the laps of Harry. And Andy, you guys are out there just running really, really hard. Is he punishing the car at all?
Well, I hope not. We talked about this before the race, that we want to keep the car healthy and run at the end of the race. I hope he's not punishing it right now. And I don't know about the weather. It might be getting ready to rain. We're going to try to stay out front, hopefully without punishing.
Did you make any changes on the car? Did you make any changes on the car or anything this morning?
Yeah, we made a couple of changes, actually. You know, this weather kind of threw a little bit of a wrench in the deal. Plus, we wasn't real happy with it yesterday afternoon, so we did make one change on it.
What was the change?
Well, we changed one of the rear springs.
There you go. Change the rear spring. They won't get any more specific than that. I can't give you guys the number.
I detected just a little bit of hesitation from Andy's voice there. I don't think he wants Harry to be running this car quite as hard as he is.
Well, that's exactly what I thought that he wondered. He said they talked about it in the truck and said, okay, we're going to run this speed, we're going to run a certain pace. But, you know, Harry has it in front right now, and if it feels good there, he might as well.
And I'll bet that's the key. The car feels good to him right now.
Let's take a look at the top 20 as we are just past the halfway point on this Sunday afternoon here at Darlington, South Carolina, as ESPN continues its Labor Day weekend tradition that has lasted for many years. That is the live telecast of the Heinz Southern 500 here at Darlington International Raceway. Dale Earnhardt is in 6th position. He is the last car on the lead lap. Jeff Bodine has just been lapped, and everybody else is at least 1 lap down. We'll be back with more live coverage in just a moment. Stay with us. Now, our RPM on the telemetry isn't giving us an accurate reading, and the reason is because that RPM tachometer isn't working.
With that red hand that we see behind the black thing is supposed to be going around and sweeping down to about 7,000, now up to 8,000 straight. We can see it's not doing anything at all.
Now, how would that affect him out there on the track, if at all?
It will affect him coming down pit road because they judge their speed by the tachometer down pit road. Now, he's going down pit road blind. He has no idea how fast he's doing.
Well, of course, he's not on pit road right now, but when he does come into the pits, he will just have to sort of estimate.
Jerry Punch has more on this.
We were standing here a minute ago talking to Eddie Wood, and Eddie was saying the tachometer has quit on the car, but now something else is wrong with the car. Dale Jarrett pulls down to the inside and begins to slow. They are moving around here in the Wood Brothers pit, the Cisco pit, to figure out maybe what may have been the problem. Eddie, what's the problem with the car?
I don't know. He said something was happening. I don't know what was I don't know if it's ignition or what.
So Dale Jarrett is obviously played on the racetrack, and the Wood Brothers are prepared to bring him back in. A tough break for the driver, but it's a good run here a couple of weeks ago.
Well, just as we was watching Dale Jarrett a moment ago, he reached over by the Citgo sign and flipped the switch. He switched ignition boxes on the car. Evidently, one of them died. He tried the other one, and that did not work.
So Dale, who had just moved onto the leaderboard in 5th position, a great run, is interrupted as he brings the car to a halt in the pit area, and the crew goes to work raising the hood, trying to find out what the problem is. Dale calls him over.
You think he's not hot?
They are working on that ignition box, Benny, that you mentioned.
One more drink. Yeah, see those buttons on the Cisco? That's the buttons he switched a while ago. He went from one ignition box to another, and evidently that did not work. Who will Silver think, Rob?
Well, they're sending him back out now.
Only a 28-second pit stop, and he's back out there. We understand that Dale Earnhardt is going to be making a pit stop in just a moment. Dale is 5th.
It's a shame then that they could not get the tires changed on this Cisco Ford that time. It would have been a big aid because
it wouldn't have cost him that much because everybody else has pit stops coming up. Now, he went farther the last time than anybody else on fuel, but
Harry Gant's coming in. Our leader's coming in the pits.
On lap 198, Harry Gant relinquishes the lead. John Kernan is there as Harry heads.
Harry Gant coming in just a little bit unexpectedly. We had expected him in about 5 more laps, and all of a sudden he radioed in and said, I'm coming in. So we're not quite sure if he's run out of fuel or not. We had not had a chance to talk to Andy Peterson, but here he pulls in. Car's still under power. Maybe he just decided that the tires had just run away so much he had to have new tires. So they will go to work a 4-tire change, and Davey Allison also into the pits, and Jerry Punch is there.
They have already changed right side tires, John. They are now working on the left side of the scheduled pit stop. They had a little bit of trouble fueling the car. Now the car is off the jacket away as he moves out around the Morgan Shepherd Motorcraft Ford. Now Dale Earnhardt has pulled his Goodrich Chevrolet in for a scheduled pit stop. They are changing right side tires, putting the windshield. They will take a good, long, strong, hard look at the left rear tire. Earnhardt crew down the left side of the car. Kurt Shelburne changing the left front, the left rear going on from Will Lynn. David Smith will pull the jack, and they clean some of the rubber out of the grill. Down and away.
Morgan Shepherd also made a pit stop. Ernie Irvin is coming in to you, John.
Well, likewise, we weren't expecting Ernie for about 4 more laps, but when the leader comes in and pits and takes on 4 new tires, he is so much faster than the other cars on used tires, it forces the hand of the other teams. They've got to come in and pit, or Harry Gant, as the leader, would pull further and further away. It will be a 4-tire change, no chassis adjustment as of yet. And Mark Martin is coming down pit road. He will make his pit stop a couple laps early. Ernie is down and away with 4 new tires.
Now the crew goes to work on Mark Martin's Folgers Ford. They begin to work on the right side of that car.
Also putting a half round of wedge in the car. Car a little bit loose. They put the wrench through the rear window and made a very, very slight adjustment.
Fellas, if they could have stayed out there a few more laps, I don't know if Dale Jarrett's going to get back to the pits. He went out and ran a couple of laps, but the car is awfully slow between turn 3 and 4 as Mark Martin does go out. If there's anybody else out there, there are some cars that have not made pit stops, but Dale Jarrett, you can see, he's just drinking something and just barely rolling. And I don't know if he's going to get back to the pits or not. He might be able to.
He is way down low on the inside. We can't even see him. Our view is blocked because the car is so far down on the inside of the racetrack. But it is almost at a stop. Now, Jeff Bodine comes in. I think he should have stayed out, maybe in anticipation of a yellow.
Well, if he could have, maybe he was getting low on fuel. Don't know. He probably had no choice. He had gone a lap down, but of course had gotten back up to 3rd place when the leaders had made their pit stops.
And that car is not going to make it back. It is not going to make it back. I believe it's stopped. It's stopped right there.
And NASCAR will have no choice, I don't think, but go down and throw the caution flag, because they're certainly not going to send any vehicle out while these cars are going around the racetrack at green flag speed.
Jeff Bodine has completed the work on his stop, and he's back out there. Now the yellow comes out. The yellow flag out for the 4th time today because of Dale Jarrett's stalled car, and this comes just after most had made a pit stop. We'll be back with more with 203 laps completed in the Heinz Southern 500. As several come in for work here on pit road, including Rusty Wallace at the bottom of your screen as we work our way up. Ken Schrader is in, Larry Pearson, Kyle Petty, Morgan Shepherd, Bill Elliott, and the number 3 car of Dale Earnhardt. Let's go down for a conversation with Dale Jarrett.
They have pushed the Citgo Ford back in the garage area, and Dale Jarrett is sitting in the car. Now Len Wood is over here looking at some of the gauges as Eddie Wood is inside. Dale, what's the problem?
Jerry, something in the ignition or battery, something went dead here. Something had happened about 15 laps earlier, and I switched the boxes and got it going again, but I don't know if it's drained the battery down or what. We got a lot of equipment in here that we probably don't need to have right now. And it's unfortunate. This Citgo Ford was running great. We had a good shot at winning the race, just sitting there running the top 5, and felt good about our chances, but that's the way it is.
Well, Eddie Wood, if you look over here to the right side of Dale Jarrett, Eddie Wood is inside the car working down where the ignition is. They are trying to remove some of the blower. They have 3 or 4 fans that are blowing on Dale and trying to get air circulating inside the car. And they said the battery may have been drained and it may indeed have gone dead. They have changed the battery. Eddie Wood's still in the car trying to get some things rewired, and hopefully they'll get Dale Jarrett back out. Remember, he is currently 15th in the Winston Cup point standings.
And the winner not too long ago is Darrell Waltrip's car is being pushed behind the pit wall. So scratch another one off from competition.
Brake problem. They'll get it fixed and send it back out there, Bob, but he'll lose some valuable time. And he had just gotten back in the lead lap,
yes,
I believe, because of not having made a pit stop. Let's also mention he's running with the calibers for the brakes. But Ricky Rudd was a big benefactor on this. Ken Schrader was a big benefactor on this. So was Darrell Waltrip, got back in the lead lap. Dick Trickle got back in the lead lap because they had not made pit stops before this caution came out. So now we have more cars on the lead lap than we did have. In fact, it's up to about 9 now. We were down to 6.
And the field lines up for a restart. The 2 abreast formation. You see the faster cars, including Harry Gann and Davey Allison and Mark Martin, on the high groove, and those that are at least a lap down on the lower groove. Once again, the sellout crowd here on its feet as the green comes out, and we go back to racing on lap number 209.
Harry Gann, Davey Allison, Mark Martin had only stopped just a few laps prior to this caution flag, so they chose to stay on the racetrack and not come back in. Earnhardt, Ernie Irvin, several cars did make another pit stop on this caution flag.
Bodine, as he tries to get a lap back, he is 1 lap down in 11th.
Mark Martin trying to take over that second spot.
Will take over second. Rusty Wallace appears to be running all right. He's in this group of cars, but is many laps down. 2 laps down, only 2 laps down in 23rd. Martin and Allison, 2nd and 3rd to Harry Gann.
Decided he's going to walk the lead this time.
Now Davey wants to get second back as he takes a look to the inside. And the 87 car of Randy Baker. Did he spin? Well, anyway, he's running very slowly down the backstretch.
I think he did spin. And then I talked at the top of the show about drivers, sons, and fathers who've been in this race. Randy Baker's father, Buck Baker, won the Southern 500, and I forgot to mention him at the top of the show.
Sure did. So that made 5 drivers in this race. As Davey Allison just motors around Mark Martin, no problem.
Goes back into second. Michael Waltrip is running with this group of cars. He is also 2 laps down in 19th position.
Michael had just made a pit stop, Bob, before the caution came out. And now was on the inside of it, trying to load it out. Here comes Mark Martin, no problem. Michael gives them all the running room they need down on the inside.
two cars are on the same lap and dicing for position.
You saw Jimmy Spencer blow up right in the middle of the front straightaway. He's high up against the wall.
Way up against it.
Trying to keep out of everyone's way, and so far he's been able to do that.
Jimmy Spencer bringing the Banquet Frozen Foods Planters peanut car to the inside of the track. Everybody passing by. His problems have developed on that car. Jimmy with a great run last Saturday night in Bristol, Tennessee, until the throttle linkage broke. Now here comes the car into the front pits once again. And Dale Jarrett is going back out on the racetrack.
Ignition or got fire to it.
I would imagine they put a new battery in the car, and that was the problem, was a dead battery, the looks of things.
Fellas, he's about 14 laps down.
Ernie Irvin and Ricky Rudd are on the same lap. This is the battle for 5th place. Irvin goes inside and takes 5th. Ricky Rudd back to 6th. That's Dale Earnhardt, who is in 4th position, just ahead of Ernie. And again, we emphasize how big a break that was for Ricky Rudd. The most recent caution allowed him to make up a lap that he had lost previous.
That was a huge, huge break, because he was looking at finishing 10 positions maybe. Oh, and there's another car. Rusty Wallace once again is smoking down in turn 1, and he's off the pace. It looks like something's broken in the engine this time, Ned.
Yeah, it looks certainly more smoke than we saw before when he was black flagged a couple of times. I would say this is much more serious.
Rusty Wallace, champion of Winston Cup racing a couple of years ago. Rusty says it's an engine, and he'll be taking it behind the wall. So the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac gives it a gallant fight here this afternoon after encountering numerous problems, and it looks like this one might be terminal.
Yes, before when it smoked like that, he accelerated away. This time he's going straight to the drive, as Ernie Irvin has passed Earnhardt and taken that spot away.
That's 4th. Earnhardt back to 5th. And Ricky Rudd is right behind Earnhardt now. Once again, Michael Waltrip takes his Pennzoil Pontiac up high and allows Ernie Irvin to pass. And now he'll go inside and allow Dale Earnhardt to pass on the outside. And the yellow is out. Probably want to check the track for oil. See if any was laid down by Rusty Wallace. 5th time that the caution flag has been waved this afternoon on the Southern 500. As the yellow lights blink on. Jerry, you see any rain out there, either in the sky or on the radar?
Unfortunately, Bob, we do. There's a lot of chatter up and down pit road about what strategy may be played out with this caution flag and others to come because some weather moving into the area. Let me show the skies have gotten darker outside, but take a look at the NASCAR radar. Now, we are right here at Darlington Raceway. Now, off the coast, a line of thunder showers has developed, but more importantly and more concerningly here, just west of us, southwest of us, over toward Columbia. See all this dark green and some of the yellow? As Harry Gant and all the leaders begin to make their way down pit road, these thunder showers hopefully will begin to move south and east away from Darlington, but they may move. If they move due east, they could catch part of the racetrack here within an hour to an hour and a half, and we could have some rain. Right now, a lot of people concerned as pit stops begin during this caution flag, and a lot of strategy could be changed by these clouds here on the screen.
All right, pit road is busy. Harry Gant on the top of your screen and Davey Allison on the bottom. John Kernan reports.
Bob, some kind of an unusual request I brought from Harry Gant. He didn't ask him to take a round out or put a round in. He said, give me 4 tires and a couple of glasses of ice water. Service already way. Harry's way. Davey Allison clears away, and there goes Ernie Irvin and Dale Earnhardt down pit road.
Not only is heat a problem here this afternoon, but it's been humid for the last couple of days. I think the humidity was 85% when we began this race, so that also was draining the drivers as they compete for 500 miles on this very tough racetrack here at the Heinz Southern 500. Set to go back to green with Harry Gant still in command of the Southern 500, and 9 cars are on the lead lap as we go back to green on lap number 224.
Harry Gant, Mark Martin. Yep, Mark Davey Allison. That was the way that the cars came out of the pits.
Gant took off, but Mark Martin came right behind him. Now Allison and Irvin come along.
Dale Earnhardt rides fifth. That's third and fourth. Allison third, and Ernie Irvin fourth.
Petty, Ken Schrader, Morgan Shepherd. That is 12th, 13th, and 14th.
So Ken Schrader is one of those drivers that's on the lead lap, currently being shown what in the 7th position.
A blue in-car camera providing the action here from Morgan Shepherd's perspective. That is Schrader just ahead, and Kyle Petty up ahead of Schrader.
Once again, Kyle Petty's down on the apron of the racetrack coming off turn 4, trying to get the car loosened up, as Gary Nelson told us. It's really wild to see that, though.
If the fans are wondering, they saw Ken Schrader get lapped a while back. Well, the reason he got back in the lead lap, he called a caution. Everybody else had pitted, and he had not pitted, getting good gas mileage. And so he called a caution when Dale Jarrett stalled on the track. So that put him back in the lead lap. And that's why we have 9 now as opposed to 5 a little while ago.
Petty running 12th. Morgan Shepherd 13th.
They are, of course, a lap down. In fact, there are about 9 cars also that are 1 lap down. Bob, was that 8 cars?
Yes, 8 cars in the lead lap, and then down through 9 through 17 are 1 lap down. 18 through 24, 2 laps down.
You hear Morgan Shepherd as he plays with the throttle in that Motorcraft Ford. There's Schrader looking inside of Kyle Petty. Able to get by down in turn 1.
And of course, those that are on the lead lap are Harry Gant, the leader, Mark Martin, Davey Allison, Ernie Irvin, Dale Earnhardt, Ricky Rudd is in 6th, Ken Schrader is 7th, and 8th is car number 24, Dick Prickle. That's the 8 cars that are in the lead lap.
And now the Western Auto Race summary. Harry Gant, leader, has led 73 of the 225 laps. We have 5 caution periods for a total of 21 laps and 18 lead changes among 10 drivers. The average speed 132.44 miles an hour. Those that have led include Allison. Ted Musgrave led a lap. So did Earnhardt, Martin, Irvin, Darrell Waltrip, Bobby Hamilton, Dale Jarrett, Rick Mast, and the current leader, Harry Gant. Those that have gone behind the wall, James Hilton, Mark Stahl, Kowicki, Speed, Little, Marcus, and the most recent, Rusty Wallace. Now, the standings in the Western Auto Mechanic of the Year race. Larry McReynolds of Davey Allison's team is on top, but only by a single point over Alan Kowicki's Danny Glad. Robin Pemberton from Mark Martin's crew is 3rd in the standings, then Tony Glover and Kirk Shelmerdine. And we're watching 2nd and 3rd position, Mark Martin and Davey Allison. Harry Gant has pretty much checked out again, hasn't he?
Yes, a pretty good lead. In fact, I'll put my unofficial stopwatch on. It's about 1 1/8 seconds. You can see the distance between 2nd and 3rd there. You can see Gant over the left side of the screen.
And there's Harry.
You know, the first 100 miles of the race, Harry Gant didn't show that much strength, but they made a pit stop on the green. Andy Petrie and the crew put him in 1st place, and I don't think he's been out of 1st since, has he?
Don't think so, except in during green flag pit stop.
Once again, an indication of the interval between the 1st and 2nd and 3rd place cars. Working just behind these guys in 4th position is Ernie Irvin, but now Davey Allison won 2nd place and Martin had no resistance whatsoever.
I think he slipped. I think Mark Martin slipped. He got the car a little bit sideways, had to carry it up the hill to catch the back end, and Davey Allison was able to get by. What tells me that is the gap between Martin and Davey Allison.
Now,
Gary Cope, Sterling Marlin, both down a lap. Ricky Rudd is on the lead lap, and so is Ken Schrader. So Rudd is
flag.
Michael Walter spinning off turn number 4. Kept away from the wall, I believe.
Didn't hit anything that I can see.
It looks like it.
He's got a flat right rear tire. The right rear is flat, and there's some damage to the left rear, maybe?
Yep, left quarter panel there.
So we're slowed for the 6th time today because of the spin up in turn 4 by Michael Waltrip. He's one of those pitted on the backstretch, so he doesn't have all that far to go to get that flat tire changed.
Running in 19th position.
We'll take a look at the spin from our speed shot, which is now look way at the top of your screen. It's going to be pretty difficult for us to see, but oh yeah, he was running with somebody and got sideways.
Looks like he tried to turn under them, and I shouldn't speculate. I have no idea why I exploded.
Well, at least you admit it. Anyway, Michael Waltrip
he's in the garage. He didn't go in the pits. He went back behind pit wall.
Straight to the garage. All right, pit stops are going to be occurring again as those running up front come down again, led by Gant. Allison's right behind him, then Mark Irvin, Earnhardt, Jerry Punch is there.
Harry Gant on the top of your screen as you see Dale Earnhardt on the bottom of the Goodrich. Allison on the bottom of your screen in the car number 28 as we get our split screen here. You see Oldsmobile on top, Ford on the bottom. Are changing left side tires now on the Hamilton Ford of Davey Allison. Andy Beecher and the crew working on Harry Gant's car. Left side of Harry Gant's car is Allison's car already off the Jackson away. Harry Gant is down and away. Earnhardt is likewise moving down, and Allison will beat Gant down pit road. Remember, 60 miles an hour is all you can do as they move back to turn 1.
Allison with a nice pit stop, and he got out ahead of Gant and Martin and Earnhardt.
Well, came in third, goes out first.
Looks like Andy Peter had just a little bit of trouble in the right rear, which slowed Harry's stop down just a tick. But boy, they have been having some super pit stops today in that Skoal crew.
They really have.
And Mark Martin is going to take second because he did cross that line, that white line at the end of pit road before Harry Gant. NASCAR has moved him up to second place.
That is the determining factor, that line located right at the end of pit road. You're watching live coverage of the Heinz Southern 500. Followed by Harry Gant, Dale Earnhardt, and Ernie Irvin. Well, tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock Eastern Time, you can see delayed coverage of the Vancouver Indy from Pacific Place. That's the kart race that is being run this afternoon in British Columbia, but will be on the air tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock Eastern Time here on ESPN as the points battle in that series also tightens up. Now 4 drivers actually going for the championship of the PPG series. Bill Elliott has been in and out of the pits all day. He is in once again. The hood up on the car, and they're trying to get him out before the field comes around, and they will do so. The field is in turn number 4, getting set for green flag action.
Jeff Bodine a lap down in that Budweiser Ford beside of Davey Allison.
Bodine being shown in 9th position. 8 cars still in the lead lap.
There's the green. Now then, Harry Gant has been able to keep in front of these Fords. When he was in front, can he pass the Fords? That's the question that maybe we can resolve in the next 15, 20 minutes. Derek Cope goes up and almost. And look, Earnhardt gets hung on the inside behind Cope, and cars are going by Dale Earnhardt on the outside. Irvin goes by.
You're in a situation where Earnhardt don't know which way to go. Now I believe it might work out that, well, don't know. He's going to get caught down there, sure enough, and it's going to cost him at least the 1 position for the Irvin.
Well, sure is. He's getting passed.
And it's not a deal where he can just turn right because there's cars out there. saw Dick Trickle smoking as he came off that second corner. That's a tough break because they're having a good run going today in that Team 3 Pontiac.
He got back in the lead lap. Running most of the day, so there's a lot of front runs through cars.
Harry Gant is locked on Mark Martin's bumper for second position. Davey Allison has taken off and has stretched out his advantage a little bit.
Over in
Morgan Shepherd and Brett Bodine spin over in the second corner.
I think Ricky Rudd just did get through that crash. The fellow who's second in the point standings. I know he's going slow down the back. This is inside Morgan Shepherd's car, Ned. You start to say something a minute ago?
Well, I started saying he was going awfully slow. He might have got bumped. I'm not sure.
But here's a look at it.
Morgan goes up and gets in the wall. And Rudd. He makes some contact.
Get bumped. He's a lot of damage to the right front of the Tide Chevrolet, and you can see why.
Man, oh man. He got way up on two wheels. Well, Morgan Shepherd has his car running again. This is our 7th caution of the afternoon. We ran so many laps there with out of caution, and now we've had 2 or 3 in a row. 240 laps are completed. And we'll be back with more from Darlington. The Heinz Southern 500 from Darlington International Raceway continues. Ricky Rudd, who was involved in that incident up in turn number 2, comes in for another pit stop. Morgan Shepherd was also involved. Now, we tape record the in-car camera all the time. And Morgan ran, what, the first 240-some laps without a problem. We were changing tapes when this incident occurred, but this is how it looked from our vantage point up here on the main straightaway. Ricky Rudd clobbering the 15 car, and then Brett Bodine spinning behind. Now, here's what we had on the in-car camera once we got the tape reloaded.
Well, Dale Earnhardt slid in front of Morgan, and I don't know, Morgan got up in the loose stuff, it looked like, and of course it had already been hit there by Ricky Rudd.
That's what it looked like. It looked like Morgan got in the corner and just maybe hit a slick spot or did get up in the loose stuff. Meanwhile, the NASCAR has given the field 1 lap to go, and Ricky Rudd, they have not completed cutting that right front fender off. He's going to have to come back in. I mean, see that right front? They're not going to let him stay on the racetrack with that thing sticking up like that. As I said, meanwhile, they're giving the signal 1 lap to go.
He's motoring down the backstretch and now going into turn 3.
He can probably come back in, and he is going to come back in and maybe catch back up to the field.
Here he comes. We also, I said a bit ago that Dick Trickle, with the engine was smoking in that car. It was a tire rubbing, and they've been able to fix that, get the fender off the tire, and he's back on the track.
Now let's see what they do to Rudd's car. To stay on the lead lap. The field is in turn 3.
The trusty old hacksaw at work. They're going to break the blade, as they just did, trying to hurry so much. There, they broke the air hose. See, the air hose is broken off the air chisel. That's why they're not using the air chisel, because the hose, now they got another hose. Meanwhile, the cars are coming off the corner and taking the green flag, and they're still working on Rudd's car.
And Rudd is going to go a lap down. Here comes the field off the 4th corner, and the green waves again. Tough luck for the competitor who is second at Winston-Cup points, Ricky Rudd, who had worked his way back to the lead lap, but now sees himself go down another lap as the crew continues to work on the car, and the action heats up on the racetrack. Harry Gant moves to the inside, looks to the inside of Mark Martin. He gets second position. Harry Gant moves to second.
Here comes Ernie Irvin. He's trying to take over that 3rd spot from Martin. He pulls right up almost on the back bumper, about a half a car length.
And boy, look how far away Harry Gant pulled from Mark Martin in just a half a lap. That car is strong.
Davey Allison is the leader of the race. The car running second on the racetrack, number 10, Derek Cope, is not on the lead lap. He's 9th.
Ricky Rudd went back out, fellas, as we watch this battle for 3rd place. Rudd is 2 laps down, I believe.
Ernie wants to get by. He's trying so hard to get by. He tried to look inside of Mark Martin that time, couldn't make it. Tries to draft by down the front straightaway, just doesn't have quite enough. Meanwhile, Gant went by Derek Cove, the lap car. Now Martin slips up, and Ernie Irvin takes the spot over with ease.
We got a Ford out front, an Oldsmobile second, Chevrolet third, and another Ford in 4th place. Chevrolet is 5th.
Chance chances are R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company is going to give away $100,000 today. The 3 drivers eligible for the $100,000 bonus are running first, second, and third.
Schrader trying to get by Earnhardt. That's the position for 5th. Earnhardt's car goes up the hill a little bit. Schrader seems to be handling well on the bottom of the racetrack. Schrader has position, takes the spot away. Now that pushes Earnhardt back to 6th.
Always gives me great pleasure to do this because we contributed in some way to an individual winning a Pontiac Grand Prix. Earl J. Davis, 29 years old, was watching ESPN and knew that Harry Gant was leading at the halfway point, and Earl J. Davis has won a Pontiac Grand Prix SE. Congratulations from all of us here at ESPN, and of course the right guard.
Where's Earl from? Does it say?
I'm trying to see.
Oh, okay.
You watch the racetrack. I'll read this. Okay.
Okay. There's Davey Allison, our leader. He's still leading.
Hey, this is a good deal. Just sitting here all afternoon. Here it is. Manti, Utah. Manti, Utah. How about that? Okay.
We got fans all the way out in Utah.
Hey, yeah.
Thank you, Earl.
A Ford with Davey Allison behind the wheel is leading this race at the moment here with 249 laps to go, just a little more than 100 remaining in the Southern 500. Right now is able to beat Davey Allison, who leads the race. Harry Gant trailing along in second. Then comes Ernie Irvin and Mark Martin and Dale Earnhardt.
Now, according to my unofficial stopwatch, Harry Gant is gaining ever so slightly on Davey Allison, maybe about 4 or 5 of a second per lap.
That's not much, but we've still got a long ways to go. He could very well catch him before the race is over.
Bill Elliott he's got a long way to go. He's back in 22nd position. You know, the guy that won the Pontiac Grand Prix with Reichardt said he was a Harry Gant fan, but his very favorite driver was Bill Elliott. Jerry, what's Bill's situation?
Well, Bobby, realized we reported earlier that Bill Elliott was down on 7 cylinders, and he is being shown now 5 laps down at 22nd spot. But the good news for the Bill Elliott fans listening and watching is that he made a pit stop during the last caution flag, and they changed all 8 spark plugs and found that they had a couple spark plugs that had a problem, and now he is back on 8 cylinders. Unfortunately, he is down 5 laps, but running on all 8 here at Darlington.
So Bill Elliott will stay out there and gain as many Winston Cup points as he can. He is currently 11th in the Winston Cup point standing, some 532 behind the leader, Dale Earnhardt. The leader of the race is Davey Allison. A lot of money? Yeah. The purse for winning the race, $114,000 in Unocal bonus money and a $100,000 bonus from RJR. You thinking about that payroll, or you thinking about winning the race?
If we can win. That's the key. But the car's running good. You know, it's a long race. We just got to take care of everything between the green flag and the checkered flag. Try to stay out front and stay out of trouble all day. Try not to run into the wall any like I have a habit of doing here.
Well, at least he's honest.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
You know, he must have heard me say that Harry Gant was gaining a little bit on him now. Davey has opened up that lead just a little bit. It was about a second and a half. Then it got down to about a second and 2/10, but now it has opened up to about 1/16 second.
This car, by the way, that Davey is driving here today is an all-new T-Bird. In fact, it had never been run in competition. They tested with it at Richmond not too long ago, but it's a brand-new car. They nicknamed it Lewis because of the Ford aerodynamicist Lou Duncan, who had a great hand in putting this car together. So Allison has obviously got himself a fast race car because he is pulling away from Harry Gant at the moment. What does Lewis do? He's the aerodynamicist for Ford.
I don't think that's a word.
That's impressive that he could say that.
I don't believe that's a word. I'm going to have to look that up in the dictionary.
Aerodynamicist?
Anyway.
He's a specialist in aerodynamics.
Aerodynamics.
Exactly. Okay, I believe that.
Well, we got to get another break in here while things have kind of settled down, and Davey has a very comfortable lead at the moment. Thanks for joining us on this Sunday from Darlington. Harry Gant running second, and Ernie Irvin running in third spot.
Looks like the lead's about maintained, hasn't it, Ned? About the same?
Yeah, it's about 1 7/10 seconds now. They've stabilized for the last 5 or so laps.
Davies Ford leading in this Oldsmobile, driven by Harry Gant, running second. The last win for an Oldsmobile in the Southern 500, 1978. The driver,
Bill Yarborough.
Very good. Other Olds winners in this event: 1953, Buck Baker; 1952, Monty Flock.
You just full of it.
Let me see. The only Pontiac to win at Darlington, Buck Baker in 1960.
You know, you talked about playing softball.
Who was talking about playing softball?
We were talking about on the break a moment ago. September the 17th, the NASCAR drivers are going to play the NHRA drivers in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yep.
And
at Knight Stadium.
At Knight Stadium down there.
And I'll tell you what, if the NHRA guys don't play any better in that game than they did against us on Wednesday morning, they got some problems.
I heard they were practicing. As a matter of fact, we've got some tape. I've been practicing up in Indianapolis last week. Here we go. Darrell Gwynn throws out the first pitch. Now the NHRA drivers are huddling, getting all the strategy. That's Joe Amato, Kenny Bernstein. And there's our Bob Jenkins.
Wait a minute.
All right.
You said you didn't have this videotape.
And there's Jenkins.
Look at that hit.
Look, now watch him leg this run out. Oh, Jenkins, I'm so proud of you. All right, here we go. This is the media from Indianapolis. Another little bloop single in there. We're scoring a run. Now watch Jenkins. He's coming into third. Oh! Jenkins, why didn't you slide?
Well, I tried.
Here's a replay. Watch this.
You can't slide. It's illegal to slide.
Oh, it is?
That's Pat Austin.
Oh.
Besides that, I can hurt myself.
Okay, now here we go.
Now watch this.
Run. You're supposed to run him out even though you...
That's Kenny Bernstein that caught that towering fly ball.
All right, here's a little grounder. Oh, Gary Lee. Oh, Jenkins. That's Bob, our hero, number 10. Once again, in replay, Gary Lee takes a header.
It takes a bad bounce. Watch it.
Yeah,
see?
right. Uh-huh. Oh, I mean, they threw him out of the game, so Jenkins, you're out of here. There's he and his wife, Pam, leaving. And here's his replacement, a perfect softball player. That's the base you cover right there. There you go. That's the one. There you go. Jenkins.
It was 18-6 in the 5th inning, and we won 21-7.
You stink as a softball
I thought you guys said you didn't have any videotape of that.
Surprise, surprise.
Davey Allison. Well, we had some fun with Bob Jenkins.
The worst thing about that, I couldn't move the next morning. Allison continues to lead.
Here's Harry again, going by Ricky Rudd. Ernie Irvin had a little bit of a lead on Mark Martin just a little bit ago, and here comes Martin. He's caught Irvin, and looks like he's trying to get, well, I know he's trying to get by.
Yeah, he is. This is the third.
Ooh, that was so close down in the corner. That right front almost touched that left rear of Ernie's car. Meanwhile, they come off the corner, and Martin has position if he can accelerate by. He does.
Mark Martin goes to third. Ernie back to fourth. The 5th place car is Ken Schrader. 6th is Dale Earnhardt, and those are the only cars that are on the lead lap.
Derek Cope now in 7th place, 1 lap down. Sterling Marlin is 8th. And in 9th place, Kyle Petty. And 10th is Terry Labonte. Each of those cars 1 lap down. 11th is Rick Wilson. He also is 1 lap down. 12th is Rick Mast. He's a lap down. 13th is Jeff Bodine. He's a lap down. And Dick Triple back in the pits again.
We see him put in front end place under the front of that car. That means he's knocked the toe in out. They're going to roll the car up and try to adjust the toe in. John Kernan, you there?
Yeah, Benny, we just got down here. Barry Dodson and the crew will go to work, and I believe they're going to do exactly what you're talking about. They're getting ready to roll it up. Must have the toe in knocked out just a little bit. And they will roll the car up on that, as you said, and make the adjustment. At least I believe they're doing that. I thought they would have rolled it up by now. Barry Dodson working on that right front.
They had a pretty good run going. He was in 15th position when he came in.
What they do is they roll the car up on that plate, and that plate's on ball bearings, and it swivels back and forth. So they take the wrap out of the tire. any strain the tire has on it when they roll on that plate, it takes that strain out, and they can adjust the toe in, and that's what they're doing with that string. But again, I'm like John. I would have thought that they would have rolled it up on the plates by now.
That's the Team 3 Pontiac that will be driven next year by Kenny Wallace.
This is the left side we're seeing. We can't see the right side. What's happened is Trickle has brushed the wall at someplace on the racetrack and has knocked the toe in out because the right side has the infamous Darlington stripe on it.
We're within 100 laps now to finish. 95, as a matter of fact, before the checkered flag falls on this 42nd edition of the Southern 500. As the leader, Davey Allison, goes high on the racetrack past the number 47 car of Greg Sachs. Big A Auto Parts on track interval. Timing Allison and Gant on 5 successive laps.
Well, Gant has picked up in 5 laps almost 1 second. Is what our Big A is showing, 9/10 of a second. So that's quite a bit. That's about 250 feet.
And there is the interval on the racetrack.
It's about 250 feet.
Yep. Lap times there reflecting a 2-second interval at the top, all the way to 1.1. As far as the times themselves are concerned, Gant pretty consistent.
He's very consistent. We see Allison with a 32.7, but down to a 33.4. That's, in racing terms, inconsistent, although a slow car can cause that.
And I think on that particular lap, he did pass someone, and that would reflect a different speed.
So with 275 laps now gone here at Darlington, South Carolina in the Southern 500, Davey Allison continues to show the way, and we'll have more live coverage in just a moment. And if we still had Benny's Hat of the Week, boy, this would qualify, wouldn't it, Benny? That's a nice one there.
That would definitely be Hat of the Week.
That is good stuff.
Is he running the scanner? Is that the fellow beside of him that's got the radio scanner?
Not sure. Anyway, here comes Davey Allison putting another lap on the King Richard Petty, who is 19th in the serial scoring.
Brett Bodine, the Quaker State Buick, directly in front of Davey.
He is 18th.
So that's one thing Davey does not want to do. He doesn't want to run across the slow traffic and follow him through a corner, because that will cost him a half a second, 6/10 of a second, as we saw just a moment ago in that Big A.
Dale Jarrett signaling the drivers behind him. Yeah, Dale is back out on the racetrack after about 14 laps in the pit area to correct an electrical problem. Dale is 28th.
That was Harry Gant, the leader, that he motioned to. He said, go ahead, I realize you're back there. I'm going to back off and let you have the groove.
Second place car, Harry Gant, behind Davey Allison. Still running third is Mark Martin. Fourth is Ernie Irvin, and fifth is Kenny Slater. That hasn't changed. Dale Earnhardt is sixth. 6 cars on the lead lap.
7 through 10 is Derek Cope, Kyle Petty, Sterling Marlin, and Rick Wilson. 11 through 15.
Oh. Excuse me, Benny. Harry just wiggled a little bit there.
Oh, he did.
He's okay now.
Where'd I get to? I got to 11th, didn't I? Oh, we're going to replay this first, okay?
See what you missed.
Harry Gant goes down in the corner, and the left front hits the apron. See when the car hits the apron? Now he goes up, and he does wiggle.
He does.
Good job saving the car. Finished 5th in this race. 11 through 15. Whoops. They changed the monitor on me. They don't want me to tell who's 11 through 15.
Let's update him. Go ahead.
Terry Labonte, Rick Mast, Jeff Bodine, Morgan Shepherd, and Bobby Hamilton. 16 through 20, Joe Rutland, Hutch Strickland, Brett Bodine, Richard Petty, and Ricky Rose.
And Ernie Irvin, as you mentioned, runs 4th here in this race. Ernie Irvin, we asked him earlier in the weekend, what is the hardest part about driving this track that they call too tough to tame?
Well, by the time you leave the pits, the time you get back in, the hardest part I know.
I'm going to be glad when they switch the back straightaway to the front straightaway. Turn 4 won't be near as bad then. Turn 2's going to be pretty treacherous, but turn 4 won't be too bad. But, you know, it's you race here, you know, but, you know, the fans out there really don't understand it. But, you know, you get in the middle of turn 3 and 4, and you're wide open all the way to the middle, and you got to kind of lift and get the car turned while you're doing about 150 miles an hour. And that's hard to get that car turned just right that you can exit off that corner without slapping the outside wall, without getting loose, without hitting the apron. It's a 2-lane racetrack, and that's it. It's just tough to get around.
Well, Ernie Irvin even admits it tough. But you know, Benny, one guy had this place figured out. Back in 1965, won this race by 14 laps, the largest margin in the history of NASCAR racing. Ned Jarrett.
Boy, I was getting it done there.
I'm telling you, you had it hooked up.
14 laps on Ned. And you had trouble, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. It was, the car was overheating, running about 240 degrees every time I would accelerate down the straightaway the last 100 miles, and just nursing, praying that thing wouldn't quit. And it didn't.
Just like Davey Allison is doing right now. He just wishes this thing would be over. Because if it was, he would take home about $300,000.
Boy, what a big payday it's going to be for Davey if he can hold on for a few more laps. 286 out of 367 completed in the Heinz Southern 500. We'll be right back. 500 here at Darlington International Raceway in South Carolina. Davey Allison continues to set the pace, but his lead over Harry Gant is shrinking, and as a matter of fact, it is quickly disappearing as Harry Gant closes on the back bumper of Allison.
Davey Allison has some type of problem. I'm not sure what, but he has some type of problem. Jerry Punch, do you know what kind of problem he has?
Bob, unfortunately, it's the same kind of problem that plagued Jimmy Spencer last week when he was leading at Bristol. He has a throttle linkage problem. Apparently, the throttle is hanging up in the car, not acting right. The concern they have is they could bring him down pit road and try to fix it, but they are definitely not up to full speed and full throttle, and Harry Gant is closing in a hurry. Now, Gant closes to within about 2 car lengths to head to turn 1, but the concern is that it may rain here within the next few minutes. They are watching the skies, knowing that possibly some clouds are moving into the area, and they would like to see a caution flag and hopefully be able to get him in under caution where everyone would fit at the same time.
So don't go away. This thing isn't over yet by any means as we show you the field summary and how the cars are running here with 291 laps completed.
You know, it's strange that Davey Allison would have a throttle problem because he had a throttle problem at the Coca-Cola 600 in qualifying that probably kept him from sitting on the pole, and then he went ahead and won the race. And the pole at Charlotte's worth about $50,000. Remember, Ned, the throttle was hitting the air cleaner and cost him a shot at the pole. I think he ended up qualifying about 10.
Fellas, I think they're only about 7 or 8 laps away from scheduled pit stops.
Boy, are they huddling down there or what?
Are they?
We're going to run.
Here's the change of lead as Harry Gant comes to the inside of Davey off the 4th corner. They come down the straightaway side by side. At the line, Allison is in the lead, but when they get to turn 1, it's Harry Gant who goes to the front.
Here comes Davey back on the inside, and watch that move. Unbelievable.
And Gant wiggles a little in turn 2.
But what happens? Davey just can't get in the corner with that throttle hanging the way it is. He has to back off early, get in the corner, and Harry drives in and makes up some ground going in the corner.
Well, we had a change of lead, but they're back the same way they have been for the last few laps, with Allison leading and Gant running second.
Well, they were about ready for pit stops, fellas. Now they get to make them during a caution.
Allison is in, Gant is in, so is Mark Martin. Jerry Punch is there.
The problem with the throttle linkage will create a problem also for their pit stop. They can only change 2 tires at a time, but because you can only have 7 men over the wall. They will change 2 tires on the right side. It'll cost them some time on the left side of the car because they have to have 2 guys working underneath the hood. They're taking the breather off, and they're trying to make sure they don't get more than 7 men over the wall. They have the cars shut off now. They have the left side tires on, and the crowd applauding here as they watch Davey Allison's car as Harry Gant now moves down pit road. They've taken the breather off. They lowered the hood, and Davey Allison, they are going to hold Davey Allison because he had an extra man over the wall. and they wanted to put the breather back on the car. They're telling him he has to put the breather back on the car. And let's listen.
Well, it really didn't cost them that much, that extra penalty, because they stayed in the lead lap.
And they're going to go to the end of all the cars on the lead lap anyway.
Larry McReynolds is a very, very unhappy person, and he let his frustrations be known to the NASCAR official down there. Anyway, that little incident is over, and we still have caution here at Darlington. Catching up with the field as the field realigns for a restart. Now they came in again, made an adjustment in the car, and sent Davey back on his way again. And watch the crew react now.
I don't see the difference having the air cleaner in your hand and just letting on the carburetor with that.
Jerry Punch is there in the Allison pit.
They had a broken throttle spring. That's why the throttle was hanging up and would not come back. In fact, Davey said he hit Michael Waltrip purely by accident. He was coming up upon Michael. Michael was trying to get out of the way, but the throttle wouldn't come back. And when he tried to pull it back with his foot, it was too late. So he had already tagged Michael Waltrip. We're going back to green flag, guys.
And the crowd sends them on their way once again as the green comes out on lap 1. We've got 66 laps to go in the Southern 500.
And 6 cars in the lead lap, and Davey Allison is in 6th place.
And back at the point is Harry Gant with Mark Martin running second, then Dale Earnhardt, Ken Schrader, Ernie Irvan, and Allison.
I'm not sure Davey Allison has enough time to catch Harry Gant. If there was not any traffic between he and Gant, he might could. But I don't know if he can catch these cars. There he goes. That's Kyle Petty going by. Where is Davey? There he is, back behind on the inside of Sterling Marlin.
He's got a lot of racetrack to make up, doesn't he?
A lot of racetrack to make up to catch Harry Gant, as well as Gant's running.
Nearly touching Jeff Bodine as they came off the second corner, but Allison passes him. Meanwhile, there's a very good fight for second position.
And Martin just pulled something wrong with Mark Martin. He's off the pace.
And Dale Earnhardt goes to second easily as Mark Martin drops down off the banking. Well, that car has run so well, and apparently has radioed the crew saying it is over. See a little bit of smoke out the back end, but in any case, Mark Martin, who has had such a great run here at the 500 and a great run in total since Charlotte, as a matter of fact, moving up to 3rd in the point standings, now suffers a misfortune here late in the Southern 500.
That's the slowest ride in auto racing. One lap around the racetrack with no power.
Now here's second and third. Dale Earnhardt and Ernie Irvan, and that is the interval they have between themselves and the leader, Harry Gant.
Well, fellas, the last time around, Gant gained 0.6 of a second on Davey Allison. Of course, Davey back there in traffic, and Gant out there just running free by himself. He's almost 5 seconds behind Harry Gant.
Davies now has been able to get by that traffic. Jerry Punch is down with the crew. Jerry.
Well, Davey has just radioed in. The problem has returned. Apparently, they think now that the throttle linkage is hitting on the air cleaner. And so when it's going down the straightaway, the throttle is hanging and not feeling right. So they're discussing it now. You see Larry McReynolds, Robert Yates, who is the car owner and crew chief, along with Ryan Pemberton. They're discussing what they can do to help rectify the problem. Obviously, they need a caution flag to be able to make a pit stop, because a green flag stop will take them out of any chance of winning here at Darlington.
And the best battle on the racetrack at the moment is for second spot, Earnhardt and Ernie Irvan.
5 cars now in the lead lap. They are Harry Gant, of course, Dale Earnhardt in second, Ernie Irvan third, Ken Schrader fourth, and in 5th place is Davey Allison. Kyle Petty now up to 6th, 1 lap down. And second place about to change.
Yep, there goes Ernie.
Urban came into the race 5th in the Winston Cup point standings, 191 behind Earnhardt.
Earnhardt's car looks like it's running a little bit better than it has been earlier, so it looks like Richard Kirk and the crew has made some adjustments in this last pit stop.
And once again, the interval between second and third and the leader, Harry Gant from Taylorsville, North Carolina, the 84 winner of the Southern 500, is going for his second.
This is second and third. Ernie Irvan, the 4 car, the orange 4, yellow, whichever color you want to call that. We know that the color behind is black. That's Dale Earnhardt, the black 3.
You know, one of the interesting things about that first Southern 500 was that Johnny Mance won it. He qualified at 73.4 and won at an average of 75.5.
He figured his place out. He went along.
He went along. That's right. There's Ken Schrader. He's on the lead lap in 4th position. He certainly has had a good afternoon. And how about this? Kyle Petty. Boy, you got to really give him a call, because with that broken leg that has put him out of contention for so long, he has come back with a vengeance here, and he's done it with some mechanical problems.
Yes, the car was just ill to begin with, and they've adjusted on the car, and right now Kyle is about as fast as anyone.
Running in 6th place.
On back is Jeff Bodine in number 11. He is 2 laps down the leader, being shown in 10th position.
And next is the car number 10 of Derek Cope, having a good run here today. He is in 7th position, 1 lap down to the leader.
There's Sterling Marlin and Terry Labonte. That's a race for position of Max Klaus Ford, the Sunoco Oldsmobile, and that's a race for the 8th spot. Derek Cope, we saw just a moment ago, in front of these fellas.
You know, Terry Labonte won the Southern 500 back in 1980, and he only led 2 laps in registering that win.
I remember I was in a big crash down in turn 1 as he went motoring by. Bill Elliott, he is
down 5 laps. Bill Elliott. Ricky Rudd has fallen back, and so has the 28 car of Davey Allison. There is Joe Ruttman ahead of Allison now, car number 75. Joe is in 11th position, 2 laps down.
Davey having all kinds of problems driving that car with the throttle hanging. Has to back off early, has to use his foot to pop the throttle back. I know while he's backed up.
Yeah, his concern now is trying to keep it out of the wall.
Bobby Hamilton, who's tied for the rookie lead with Ted Musgrave. Country Time Oldsmobile, he eases by. He's not running 12th.
Talk about a good points race. Look at this. For rookie point standings, Hamilton and Musgrave are tied with 183 points apiece. Wally Dallenbach in 3rd with 86.
That was going in today. Right now, the 68 car is running 12th, and the 55 car Musgrave is running 21st. Morgan Shepherd, who we saw spin earlier, our Igloo in-car camera, following Davey Allison.
He's in 19th place, 4 laps behind the leader.
So DW, Darrell Waltrip, the Western Auto Chevrolet. He is in 25th spot. He is 14. Is that 15 laps down? 15 laps down. Hut Strickland, the Revestive Buick. He's in the 14th spot. There's Brett Bodine, the 26 car. He's 15th.
Right behind him will be the 47 car, Greg Sachs. And he is 22nd, 8 laps down. And behind Greg Sachs, who is in 22nd spot,
Rick Mast, who is currently in 13th place. Rick led for a while. He is 2 laps down to the leader. The Stoll Classic Oldsmobile.
There's Richard Petty, the king. He's 16th. And 5-car is running 17th. So these cars are running for position. And the 24 car is back about 22nd spot. He's a lap behind these fellows. 23rd, Dick Trickle is running. There's the 21 car, the Citgo Ford, Dale Jarrett. He had to stop and change batteries or something in his car, so he is about 16 laps behind in the Citgo Ford.
In 27th position.
We see the tachometers working in his car now, so
and the in-car camera is still working too on the Citgo Ford as Dale Jarrett runs in 27th spot.
24 car, Dick Trickle, trying to get by Ricky Rudd. Coming off turn 2 down the Bash Railway. He's got position.
How about this battle for second spot between Earnhardt and Irvin, and Dale Earnhardt goes to second.
Takes that spot away. So Richard Childress and the crew has made some adjustments. Earnhardt's car much better than it has been.
But still, it is Harry Gant who has a rather comfortable lead on Earnhardt, Irvin, and the rest of the field here after 321 laps. 3 laps to go in the Southern 500. Harry Gant is leading, but his interval is not nearly as large as it was a while ago because Dale Earnhardt appears to be catching him, Ned.
Yeah, he was about 3.5 seconds ahead of Ernie Irvin and Dale Earnhardt, and then Earnhardt passed Irvin, has closed it down to about 2 7/10 seconds. Now, the last couple of laps, it's sort of stabilized a little bit. Gant might have got the word that, hey, Earnhardt's beginning to gain a little bit, so we'll see as we put the ESPN clock on in here now as they come off the turn 4.
2.8 seconds, so that's about what you had a little bit ago. We'll keep an eye on it, and in a little bit we'll be able to check and see if in fact Earnhardt is gaining forward.
And fellas talking about gaining, Davey Allison is going into turn 4 as Harry Gant. I mean, turn 3, Allison is about to be lapped. He is really having his problems now, and he was leading this race not too long ago, but in about 2 or 3 laps, he's going to get lapped by Harry Gant. There they are.
Yep.
Once again, remember, 2.8, 2.9, so Harry Gant's about the same.
Yeah, he got the word. Earnhardt's gaining, you better go. And he sees Davey Allison up there. Certainly would like to put him a lap down. Davey is really off the pace. He pulls down. Hates to see that Oldsmobile go by and put him a lap down, but nothing you can do about it. In fact, Davey, I thought he might be coming into the pits, and he might be.
He still might be. He is coming in the pits.
Yep.
Davey Allison is coming in.
That was too bad because Davey had such a strong performance. Now he brings the car down pit road for an unscheduled stop. Jerry Punch is right there.
Well, Davey just radioed in and said the car is vibrating so badly he can't even see out of the windshield. The car was bouncing him up and down in the seat. The crew now have raised the hood. They're going to take the breather off. The speculation is that possibly they may have a broken motor mount. That would explain the reason for the throttle linkage. They are apparently going to use a belt to try to tie part of the block assembly to the right side roll bars around the motor. Try to keep it from dropping down and vibrating so badly. They have the car jacked up. They will change tires while they're here. But guys in the booth, that would explain the problem with the throttle linkage if they indeed have broken a motor mount.
It certainly would, Jerry. We could see them with a pry bar there that they was trying to pry it back up a little bit, but if that engine is moving around in there, and it would let the accelerator rub against things and cause major problems, as we've seen.
It is one tough racetrack here at Darlington, and driver after driver will tell you that to win here, as Benny did in the early stages, you have to survive. Describe Darlington in 5 words or less.
Mean. This is a mean racetrack.
Tough, thinking, strategy racetrack.
Mean, unforgiving, treacherous, fun and exhilarating.
Slippery, treacherous, tough, tough, tough.
A real test of man.
The toughest track on the circuit.
A very unique, challenging track.
The greatest.
She's a tough old girl. Tough.
That pretty much says it, doesn't it?
Pretty much says it, yeah. No one said it's a piece of cake. I'll tell you that.
Kyle Petty said it was fun, but that was about as close to a compliment as you got. Into the Citgo Ford once again with Dale Jarrett, as he is right behind the leader of the race.
Dale is just out there riding now.
There we see the Big 8 interval between Gant and Earnhardt. It started at 2.4. It closed at 1.9 after 5 laps, so Earnhardt did pick up a half second. And we can see where Earnhardt very, very consistent. 32.8 to 33 flat. And Gant from 32.9 to 33.1. So.
But we'll check it again as it comes around this time. But Harry Gant has changed his line down in turns 1 and 2, fellas. And I think that might have picked him up a little bit about the time that we started checking on him to see how he was doing against Earnhardt.
Well, he's picked up a half a second since we clocked him last.
Yep. By the way, you remember we've been... Well, let's go to Jerry Punch with an update on Davey Allison, and then I'll tell you about Dale Earnhardt. Jerry?
Gentlemen, the crew members were speculating a minute ago they had a motor mount possibly broken. That was not the case. Apparently, the vibration was from a loose left rear tire. Davey probably would not have completed another lap without tagging the wall. The left rear tire has been replaced, and the car is running very smoothly now. He still has a throttle sticking intermittently, but he certainly does not have the vibration he had some 15 laps ago.
But the damage is done. Davey Allison finds himself now 5 laps behind the leader, back in 18th position. Dale Earnhardt has not had a real good run here in the last 2-3 races. In fact, he has lost some Winston Cup points, shaving the advantage to over 60 over Ricky Rudd. But now Earnhardt is gaining back all of the points that he has lost, because the drivers, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in the points, all have had their problems today. So Earnhardt may not necessarily win the race, but he is going to gain back some points, and I'm sure he has his sights set on the $1 million that the Winston Cup champion will take home in the NASCAR banquet the first weekend of December in New York City. Earnhardt still remains second to Harry Gant, the leader of the Southern 500, with 334 laps completed. We'll take another break and be back with more in a moment.
Out of Rick almost got on the side of the wall.
Yeah, I think Rick was holding his line up there, and Harry just got loose going into the turn and slid up into him.
And there's what our Western Auto mechanic of the race is, this man, Andy Petrie, on the Harry Gant crew. Congratulations to Andy, the Western Auto mechanic of the race.
So Bob, you know, Dale Jarrett has his Busch Grand National car is owned by DHA Racing Incorporated. That happens to be Dale's initials, but that has nothing to do with the name of that corporation. Dale Jarrett, Andy Petrie, and Jimmy Newsom started that company. It's their first initial of their first names. And of course, Dale and Andy still in the racing business. And that name still goes on in the Busch Grand National.
Andy Petrie is my crew chief over with Precision Products Racing for 3 or 4 years.
Good man.
That's very good.
Do another interval here, see how much of a lead Harry Gant has on Dale Earnhardt. Earnhardt's got a little bit of traffic.
It was 2.4 the last time. Now it's 2.7. So Harry Gant has gained a little bit on Dale Earnhardt.
Both of them in traffic. Gant now coming up on Hut Strickland.
Boy, he off that corner on the line, looked like.
He got high up in 1 and 2 in the middle of the corner.
Igloo in-car camera with Morgan Shepherd. That's Earnhardt.
Oh, we hear Morgan get off the gas, just completely off the gas now to try to get the car through that corner. Watch Earnhardt go in the corner. He stays in the middle of the racetrack. Ned, you talked about Harry changing lines. He started running a lot higher down in 1 and 2.
Yeah, he did. He started going up about a car width higher than he had been running. He'd been keeping the car low on the racetrack. And we saw him that one time go in under Rick Wilson and slid up there. So the car seems to be just working better in the higher grade. But it's really, again, all afternoon been getting through turns 3 and 4.
Watch for your favorite driver now to pass by. The clock in the upper right will tell you how far your driver is behind the leader as far as positioning on the racetrack, not necessarily laps, but here comes Kyle Petty. Off the 4th corner is Cope, then Baker, Jeff Bodine.
Barely Martin, Sterling Marlin,
Bill Elliott, Joe Rutten, Bobby Hamilton, Walter brothers.
Greg Sachs. And Dan, lap at 33.3, and that's a speed of 137.676.
A lot of threes on those numbers, a lot of threes on that car.
You mentioned that Harry Gant won the Southern 500 in 1984. He's also won the Trans-South 500, the spring race here at Darlington, on 2 different occasions, in 1983 and in 1989.
When did these cars pit the last time? Can they go on this one?
I'll tell you, I think it's going to be close, Denny. They pitted on lap, Harry Gant pitted on lap 297, which left, what, that 70 laps, and he hasn't gone that far so far today. Now, Dale Jarrett had gone, I think, early in the race when they made a green flag pit stop. He had gone about 68, 69 laps. That's the longest that we have had anybody going, but maybe Harry hadn't had to go that far. So we'll just see. Let's go to the pits, and John Kernan with Andy Petrie.
Well, as just mentioned the Western Auto Mechanic of the race, Andy Petrie. And Andy, I know you can probably go the rest of the way on fuel. What about the line? Gary has changed his line. For a minute there, it looked like Dale might be catching him.
Well, yeah, we can run all the way on fuel. Car's handling pretty good. I think he's kind of taking it easy, but he's running hard too. You know, we just want to save it up and have some at the end.
Well, what about the second place car? Let's go up to Jerry Punch, who's with Richard Childress.
Richard, you're running out of laps and time. First of all, can you catch Harry? Do you have enough time?
Well, we got enough time, but Harry's running awful good right now, and he's been running good all day. Dale just came on the radio and said he didn't think he had anything for it, so we'll just have to see.
How about the fuel situation? You're going to have to run 70 laps to make it to the checkered flag. Can you make it?
Yeah, we can make it easy on fuel. You know, we tore up a couple of tires, you know, under heat, so we're just trying to save this one to finish up.
Fuel, no problem here for the Earnhardt pits, but the big problem is that number 33 car, Harry Gant.
Yes, indeed. The 33 car continues to set the pace and maintain that advantage of between 2.5 and 3 seconds. And the laps are clicking off. 347 are now down. So there are only 20 more circuits to go in the Heinz Southern 500, 42nd annual edition. Back in a moment. Dale Earnhardt has given up his second position to make an unscheduled pit stop. He came in for 4 new tires, and Dale Earnhardt dropping off the pace and now gives up his chance of making it 3 Southern 500 wins in a row.
He came off the turn 2, Bob, and the car really bobbled with him, and he slowed. So if the tire was going down or whatever might have happened, you see Rick Mast going by, and then he came into the pits. Jerry Punch was there when he made the pit stop. Jerry, how happened?
Well, we are here now. We have Richard Childress with us. Just made the Richard unscheduled stop. What happened?
Something happened in the rear end. We think it might have broke a ratchet or a spring or an axle or something. He just says it's spinning.
So it's a tough break for Dale Earnhardt. He brought the car very slowly down pit road. And indeed, if it was an axle, the car would only pull with one wheel. And he left pits very, very slowly. Couldn't hardly get the car to move as they dropped it off the jack.
So Earnhardt drops now to 8th position. We talked earlier about the fact that he was gaining all those Winston Cup points. That's how it goes.
On 2, 3, and 4, and 5, all of them had trouble today. Earnhardt was sitting down there with no trouble, and all of a sudden, he lost about 35, 40 points in one lap by going from 2nd back to 8th.
Gant hoping that his car will last the next few laps and he can win this race.
And pick up a $100,000 bonus. Let's don't forget, Harry Gant hasn't forgot, believe me. He knows all about how much money he's going to make today.
All right, now how about Ricky Rudd? He is currently 17th. So Earnhardt is 8th and Rudd is 17th. And if they finish that way, then indeed Dale is going to stretch out the point advantage on Ricky Rudd. And he will also he'll lose a few points to Ernie Irvin, who currently is in 2nd position.
Yeah, he's going to be the big gainer in this situation if he hangs on to 2nd.
And again, the quest for the Cup point standings. There's how close it is between Earnhardt and Rudd, but Ernie Irvan in 5th position in the point standings can make gain some points.
Well, he'll go right by Davey Allison, Mark Martin, and gain substantially on Earnhardt and Rudd if things just stay the same.
We're going to have a point battle right down to the end. It looks like it could be between more than 2 drivers.
Missed a beat all day. Now look what Ernie Irvan has done since Charlotte.
These are the points accumulated since the Charlotte Coca-Cola World 600 in May. Mark Martin has accumulated the most points since that time. Ernie Irvan second, and there you can see that Dale Earnhardt, the Winston Cup points leader, is 4th on the list.
If we add today's race in there, Ernie Irvan and Mark Martin would be about the same.
Yep.
Ooh, Morgan Shepherd almost took the ball in wrong. Excuse me, I didn't mean to do that. But I'll have to see him almost driving the wall, and Harry Gant just goes by the car. Looks like it's on the rail.
12 more laps to go in the Southern 500 on a hot and humid afternoon in South Carolina. We'll be right back. Harry Gant leads the Southern 500 with 9 more laps to go. That completes lap number 358. Harry Gant was born January 10th of 1940. He was 10 years and a few months old when they ran the first Southern 500 here at Darlington. If he should go on to win this event today, he will win at age 51 and 7 months, and he will extend his mark as the oldest winner in the history of Winston Cup.
He became the oldest winner last year at Pocono, didn't he?
He's not getting older. He's getting better.
Won the Winston 500 this year at Talladega, the race we had on Monday.
Yep.
And today, if he could have won the World 600 or the Daytona 500, could have picked up $1 million.
Kyle Petty had just an absolutely great run going here today. He had moved all the way up to 4th position, and a few laps ago, the thing just quit on him. He is coasting around now and taking it behind the wall. Kyle Petty in the mellow yellow Pontiac was running 4th when things went wrong.
That was a tough race. There's 10 laps to go when Kyle had trouble. All he had to do was run 10 more miles, 10 more laps, 14 more miles. What a story that would have been.
So that moves Derek Cope up to 4th, and moving into 5th position would be Terry Labonte.
Well, that'll be a shot in the arm for Terry Labonte and Derek Cope. Both of them have really had a tough year so far. Cope in the Purelator Chevrolet, and Labonte in the Sunoco Oldsmobile. And so it's good to see them have a good run and get a top 5 finish if they indeed do go on and finish in the top 5.
Harry Gant is looking for his 13th career victory. As you mentioned, Benny, his most recent win was at Talladega back in May. We televised live for you here on ESPN. 5 laps to go.
5 more.
They said no problem with fuel.
Second place is Ernie Irvan. There he is, crossing the line. There are now only 3 cars on the lap besides Gant and Ernie Irvan. The other car is Ken Schrader. We understand that rain isn't very far away from Darlington International Raceway. It is approaching the racetrack, but we've only got now 4 more laps to go.
Leo Jackson, the owner of Harry Gant's car.
Is that a smile I see on his face?
No, that's nervous. That's what that is.
Guaranteed. Just saying a little prayer there, and so hoping that everything will continue to go okay. He knows Harry's going to drive the car very carefully these last few laps.
364 laps are completed. 3 to go.
Davey Allison back on the track. We saw just go by.
He's running fast now.
Yes, he is after he got the left rear tire.
up. Davis climbed back up to 12th place now. Was down about 17th or 18th after he made that pit stop.
Next time around, Harry Gant will get the white flag, indicating one more lap to go.
Harry's going to win another Southern 500. He can just hang together.
Get that $100,000 bonus from Winston.
Yeah, it's going to be probably a $200,000 day for Harry. He's not going to win the Unocal bonus money. Only Davey Allison eligible for that.
That fellow with the glasses we saw just sit in there is Charlie Presley, brother of Robert Presley, the Busch Run National driver. He's a jackman on the Skoal Oldsmobile.
Doyle Ford has the white flag in hand. Now he waves it, and Harry Gant passes underneath the starter stand with 1.3 miles to go before he wins his second Southern 500. Harry Gant from Taylorsville, North Carolina, 51 years old. Looking for his 13th career win. This will give him 2 Southern 500 victories, and it will give him 4 total wins here at the track too tough to tame. Harry Gant comes off the 4th corner. The crowd is on its feet. They're cheering for him. Harry Gant wins the Southern 500. Finishing just ahead of the guy who ran so well here in the early stages of the race, Davey Allison, but who ends up in 12th spot. And the Skoal Bandit crew celebrates, and so does the crowd here at Darlington. Let's go to John Kernan.
Well, a very happy Andy Petrie getting congratulated. Well, Andy, what do you... getting some words now from the car owner. Now, Andy, $100,000. Well, now he's talking to Harry on the radio. $100,000 win today, an extra bonus.
Yeah, I tell you, that's really nice. You know, I really keep my fingers crossed, and still just now sinking in. You know, I really want to thank our motor department. You know, these guys have been working extra overtime. You know, along with our pit crew and all the guys, they've all done a good job all year. But I just want to say a special thanks to the guys in the motor room. I really appreciate it. Motor ran perfect, car ran perfect, and Harry was perfect.
Well, a perfect day for the Skoal Bandit Racing crew. Bob?
Thank you, John. Congratulations to Andy, Harry, and everybody else on the Skoal Bandit crew. Harry Gant has won the 1991 edition of the Southern 500. We'll talk to him after this. Very competitive Heinz Southern 500 has come to an end for the 42nd time here at Darlington International Raceway in South Carolina, and the winner is Harry Gant. Our Speed World coverage has been brought to you by GMC Trucks. It's not just a truck anymore, it's quality on the road. By Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. And by Quaker State, the Big Q is one tough motor oil. Cherry Punch is in victory lane.
51-year-old Harry Gant has climbed out of the Skoal Oldsmobile, and Harry, congratulations. What is it with you in this racetrack? You do awfully well here at this track. They say too tough to tame.
Well, always got a good car here. You know, everything just works good for us. The pit crew done a super job today, and getting the Oldsmobile, the Skoal Bandit O's prepared here, you know, for the race today. We made some changes this morning and thought about it and talked about it this morning, and everything was just perfect.
Now, the car went away just in that last stop. You had a little bit of push?
Yeah, we had a little push when Davey was. We had a bad pit stop there, and Davey got in front in the 6th car, but I didn't ever give up. You know, I know he was going to have to run. I was pushing bad, but I managed to catch him, but he had some trouble with his car. But then after that, we got right back in sync again, and it was gone.
For 51 years of age, you look fresh as a daisy.
Well, I feel good. And, you know, I figured that's the only way I'm going to beat them today, to wear them out. They may be younger, but I can wear them out.
Well, he'll use up some energy spending his money. Look behind him here, guys. He picks up $100,000 from the Winston Million, part of that bonus for winning at Talladega and winning at Darlington. And here comes his wife, Peggy, in. And
grandson, John Derrick.
Grandson here at victory lane. So all the Gants are celebrating here at Darlington. Bob?
Grandpa Gant wins the Southern 500. And a major congratulations from all of us here at ESPN. We're going to take a look at the unofficial results of this race here this afternoon and bring to an end a great tradition that has lasted for 42 runnings of this event, Benny.
It's been fantastic. And Harry Gant, my hat's off to you. I just can't believe that you can still do it. He's older than I am, and he's still doing it like a young guy.
Larry Pearson finishing in 30th position as we show you the rest of the rundown. And Ned, we got a few weeks off here before we get back to work.
Well, our next race, of course, will be at Martinsville, Virginia, the Goodies 500 in September.
Now let's take a look at the points. There you can see Dale Earnhardt with an 89-point advantage now on Ricky Rudd. Irvin remains third.